Different.
Man, I came to slay the dragon that these pussies praise. Pulled that hatchet up out of its holster and I put it in his face. I'ma put him in his place. Dig a grave for a bigot. Ain't no space on this earth that is safe for a bigot. Raging racists get erased when I'm gripping up on my blades. Suck at the rally with the gasoline can and I leave them all trapped in the flames. Put the strap and spray the ones who thought that they could run away. Fuck the triple K, I came to bring the misery and pain. Brains hanging out the hoods, red stains upon the road. Take that fucking rebel flag and I cram it down the throat. Hang them from the wind trails off the branches of an oak tree. I stay hunting chickens like the motherfucking oak. Killer Klansman. Turn that wire up to a mound of black ashes, mound of black ashes. I'm a killer Klansman. Ain't no biggest safe when I'm swinging my hatchet, swinging my hatchet. I'm a killer Klansman. Turn that wire up to a mound of black ashes, mound of black ashes. I'm a killer Klansman. Ain't no biggest safe when I'm swinging my hatchet, swinging my hatchet.
Stop the bus and I hop out, let a gun off in that biggest mouth. Ride around in that dirty south with a piece of straw hanging out my mouth. And went Oak Trail, no fills, rednecks get cold steel. Racist hoes get slapped for real. C-17 we out to kill. No fakes, no snakes, just private club secret handshakes. Put a gun in that pig's face, I'll suffocate till his neck breaks. This for the homies been locked up, never had to deal with these fucking chumps. Get ice picked till you fucking slump. 12 gauge on my loaded pump. Put a trigger back till his body drop. Leave a redneck dead in his crops. Yeah, Betty gon' give me top. She got big titties but a filthy crotch. Slit her throat, make her dad watch. Burn a rebel flag and it's fuck the cops. Brown pride with my twin Glock. Stay running Nazis up on the block.
Turn that wire up to a mound of black ashes, mound of black ashes. I'm a killer Klansman. Ain't no biggest safe when I'm swinging my hatchet, swinging my hatchet. I'm a killer Klansman. Turn that wire up to a mound of black ashes, mound of black ashes. I'm a killer Klansman. Ain't no biggest safe when I'm swinging my hatchet, swinging my hatchet. I woke up today, said fuck the positivity. I woke up today, said fuck the positivity. All that your worth is a hole in the earth. Fuck what you should have been, brush it at birth. You're in your mouth, now you're sentenced to burn. Feed your remains to the vermin and worms. Force fed broken glass, now you are bleeding internally. Here in my home, I'm practicing amateur surgery. Frantic disembowelment helps my demented aggression. Yellow pus leaking out a disgusting infection. 5 nails through the neck, 9 knives to the chest. Then I turn your rotting carcass to a vat of boiled flesh. Hammer smash face till there's nothing left to mutilate. You're trapped here in this hell and there is no chance for you to escape. There's no chance for you to escape. There's no chance for you to escape. I woke up today, said fuck the positivity. I woke up today, said fuck the positivity. Let the world be consumed by its misery. I woke up today, said fuck the positivity. Put the guns on my head, now I'm feeling free. I woke up today, said fuck the positivity. Now I'm one with the dead and I'm feeling free. Fuck the positivity. Overwhelmed by negativity. Fuck the positivity. Overwhelmed by negativity. I feel no remorse as I'm grinding your corpse. Your wretched gray flesh is covered in vile sores. Buried in my backyard is a dead human collection. Innards decay that includes lungs, livers, and intestines. They're backwards and broken, then mummified inside a barbed wire. To see you expire is my only desire. Purified by the fire, I'll make you vomit your soul. Now you're falling forever inside a bottomless hole.
What's going on, y'all? It's the Mixer, the motherfucking Mixer from the Thuggalo Show. I'm standing outside the Rose and Web Tattoo. I'm joined today by a very special person.
What up, y'all? David Scorsese up in the
He has joined me today because I am going inside here. I'm gonna hit up Eli. He's gonna do a tattoo on my neck. We're gonna get some footage of it. It's gonna be fresh. So without further ado,
Whoop whoop.
whoop, whoop.
I just wanna sleep, I just wanna smoke. I don't wanna breathe, I've been living too long. I don't wanna eat, I don't wanna talk. Tell them bury me with my lab coat on. I just wanna sleep, I just wanna smoke. I don't wanna breathe, I've been living too long. I don't wanna eat, I don't wanna talk. Tell them bury me with my lab coat on.
Well, fuck. Life's been beating me down. The only time I crack a smile is when your face is in the crowd. When I'm off the stage, I drunk and rage, I drink till I black out. Cause that's the only time I get some sleep inside this stupid house. So how I wish that I could leave, but I've been feeling stuck. But the eviction notice coming clutch to come and call my bluff. And I'm really fucking up and always ending up the bum. I work my bones until they dust and bend my back until it crunch. My life is shit, just like everything I touch. I can't afford the rent and I'm not even on no drugs. I wanna slit my wrist but I don't think I got the guts. So I'll sit here and self-pity cause that's what a pussy does. Music is the only thing that's ever shown me love. So when I hear you chanting family, it really means so much. Cause back when I was young I used to pray I had me one. And now I finally have a group of friends that really give a fuck.
I just wanna sleep, I just wanna smoke. I don't wanna breathe, I've been living too long. I don't wanna eat, I don't wanna talk. Tell them bury me with my lab coat on. I just wanna sleep, I just wanna smoke. I don't wanna breathe, I've been living too long. I don't wanna eat, I don't wanna talk. Tell them bury me with my lab coat on.
Well, fuck. What can I say? I just had a kid that I can't afford to raise. Need to pay the rent, but I'm barely getting paid. When life gives you lemons, gotta make lemonade. It's been giving me piss, but I make it taste great. Make it make sense, then I make it make bank. Tried to be brave, give a fuck what they say. Couldn't walk in my shoes, couldn't handle my stank. Crawling out the gutter like a zombie out the grave. Life is just a bitch and I'm just trying to run a train. I sit and rack my brain until I'm ripping out my braids. I gained a bunch of weight cause there's too much up on my plate. If you ask me how I'm doing, I'd probably say I'm straight. But lately, homie, I ain't really doing so great. I got one foot in the grave and one foot on the stage with my hands up high. I'm just trying to catch a
I
break.
just wanna sleep, I just wanna smoke. I don't wanna breathe, I've been living too long. I don't wanna eat, I don't wanna talk. Tell them bury me with my lab coat on. I just wanna sleep, I just wanna smoke. I don't wanna breathe, I've been living too long. I don't wanna eat, I don't wanna talk. Tell them bury me with my lab coat on. I just wanna sleep, I just wanna smoke. I don't wanna breathe, I've been living too long. I don't wanna eat, I don't wanna talk. Tell them bury me with my lab coat on. I just wanna sleep, I just wanna smoke. I don't wanna breathe, I've been living too long. I don't wanna eat, I don't wanna talk. Tell them bury me with my lab coat on.
Sniff these panties or my pussy and anus and sniff them. Come on, what do they smell like? Okay, we're gonna get ready to fuck my asshole, Patrick.
Ass to mouth to ass. Suckery sucking me sucking tash. You got an ass like a duffel bag. Trying to put all my stuff in there. But who in the fuck is this other cat? Fuck it though, guess that we both in the smash. I pull out my dick and you better not laugh. Chase my detergent, I picked up a rash. Fucking no rubber, you fucker, I'll fucking no crossing up beans like we's Ghostbusters. Pulling her hair while I'm plugging her muffler. Whipping and fixing the cookie supper.
Don't even have like any closet set up for the vocals. Just
Oh, really?
Dude,
I've always wondered, like, yeah, with their recording setups.
I was literally just sitting on his mattress on the floor, and he's just got like a little computer desk with a fucking microphone. They just stand up and do it right there in the center of his room.
Oh, shit.
I was like, I thought he had like some crazy setup, dude.
Yeah, the way their, like, production value is, yeah, you think.
Literally nothing.
Holy shit.
It's just all of them. Like, it's just all
Damn.
fucking just them, dude. Like, I was like, that's fucking talent right there.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you know, like, they're fucking good.
Soaking po, gang bang, got the whole thing on video.
You guys ever seen a bitch anal squirt?
Soaking po, gang bang, got the whole thing on
Give
video.
Bill a high five from behind. I put dick all in her spine. Took a shit on that bitch chest. It was the best. No, I ain't lying. We take turns. She eat my worm, but you gon' learn today. She's concerned by what we doing, but you gon' earn your pay. Ain't never did this before. Now I got shit on the floor, and now my dick feeling call up all of my bros, we fill up all of her holes, and she gon' swallow it whole, and we gon' bounce. Bitch, choking po, gang bang, got the whole thing on video. Choking po, gang bang, got the whole thing on video. Choking po, gang bang, got the whole thing on video. Choking po, gang bang, got the whole thing on video.
You make me come again? I'm just a helpless slut.
As soon as I write a verse, rappers are flipping out, hitting they life alert. Tortured and work with third-degree burns, and all of they feelings hurt. As soon as I write a verse, rappers are flipping out, hitting they life alert. Tortured and work with third-degree.
Looking dope.
Hell yeah.
How you feeling?
A little lightheaded, but not. Just been leaning back, obviously.
Yeah, got the outline done. Now we just gotta fill that bitch
I
in.
know, right? Yeah. We'll grab one of these books too before we.
We get the medicine, you are irrelevant. Nobody better than nobody better. Is this is that shit. Fist, bit, thrown at that chin. Wondering how bad it will get. Well, buckle up, baby, back, bitch. This is the illest damn shit that you ever done heard of. You don't really want them to murder ya. Clockwork E, coming for your crown, be coming to burden the. Pussy ass rappers so starting to get bad news. I thought you knew. Stay the fuck off my avenue. Make the whole city rock, make the whole city rock, make the whole city rock when I say so. Take a look at what we doing, take a look at what we doing, take a look at what we doing, better take notes. Get lit, get lit, get lit, get lit, get lit, get lit like a flamethrower. Take a look at what we doing, take a look at what we doing, take a look at what we doing, better take notes. As soon as I write a verse, rappers are flipping out, hitting they life alert. Tortured and work with third-degree burns, and all of they feelings hurt. As soon as I write a verse, rappers are flipping out, hitting they life alert. Tortured and work with third-degree burns, and all of they feelings hurt.
Feelings hurt, really I put in work, watch them all hit the dirt, watch your mouth really ball, watch them out, watch them all fall, watch your boy ball like yeah. Boy drop jaws like boy drop shit that you ain't never saw, boy kick flip in the middle of the mall, boy kick rappers downstairs looking like a grandma, oh damn, clockwork geek, cut your fam, thought on her knees, she gon' bow till she can, rock on a beat till I rock you to sleep, make a rapper seize up when they hit my jam like out, me and Lil Bill gotta go, get a whole game like fuck what you know, killing off lane, tell them clear the whole lane, when a rapper hit play, watch them all hit the floor.
As soon as I write a verse, rappers are flipping out, hitting they life alert. Tortured and work with third-degree burns, and all of they feelings hurt. As soon as I write a verse, rappers are flipping out, hitting they life alert. Tortured and work with third-degree burns, and all of they feelings hurt.
Little bitch. Oh, you little bitch. Oh, you little bitch.
I'm hot as deserts, I smack a rapper for lack of effort. This rap's a teaser, I smash the beaver, I'm lacking never. I grab the cleaver, I got them sick, now they running fevers. I'm off the meter, she gagging, choking, cough on my wiener. I'm making green pies, got all your homies deep fried, No, we ain't B-boys, you fucking with them E-guys, My ways to feed yours, got 'em floating on the seaside, I open these doors, get stingy when I need my pay. I'm in the kitchen, I'm cooking these beef for days. Went from damn near homeless, but now I'm really okay. Went from they don't know us, but now I'm getting some play. We really growing, I push it over, boy, we out of space, I've been stationed in a spaceship waiting for doomsday. You're really taking your flow, be stinking like poop, I'm really skating, they really posing like Lupe. Don't do fiascos, I rub a asshole and booty.
The champ is here. The champ is here, y'all. The champ is here. Who am I eating? That's for me to know, and he or she to also know. GTS the King. That was the newest Thuggalo Show vlog, shot and edited by yours truly. It's a Davey Scorsese production, if you will. Elixir invited me out to Rose and Web Tattoo in Delaware, Ohio, ran by my homie Eli Ling, and I'd never been there before, so I wanted to check it out. Took me out to dinner, had his way with me, had that tattoo done. Bada bing, bada boom. You got your first Thuggalo Show vlog, thanks to me. Yes, the champ is here. Imagine a big belt strapped over my shoulder right now. I'd be wearing it right now, but it's sitting on the desk of Radham McMahon somewhere in Australia. It's in the upside down right now. Shout out to Eli. He hooked me up with this book here while I was there. It's a flash book of tattoos from different Juggalo tattoo artists across the country. So I have to be very careful what's in here because a lot of them are violating TOS for sure. But here's a few that Eli's done. He's a pretty talented dude. Check out Chinatown Ling on Instagram if you want to check some more of his shit out. Who we got in the chat today? We got Nitro, we got Grim, we got Juggalo Dundee himself. Thank you. I mean, I kind of forced your hand by cashing Money in the Bank, but man, what a golden era for JDW now. You know, a real true champion that's going to hold on to it for more than one event. Unlike a Hog or a Piddles or a Period Stain, we got a man in the suit. We brought some, class to the title game. The Clout Champ, yes, the Clout Champ is here. Real champions are supposed to dress sharp for public appearances. We got GTS the King with a fucking pineapple on pizza emote. The fuck out of here with that. Preston Payne's in the house. Let Mama Bizarre. Jimmy Pockets in here. Wow, I thought it's way past your bedtime, homie. Fuck, I don't even know what time it is over there across the pond. Dub Selector, first time chat. Thanks for coming in. Fizzy's in here with the hole up. Sailor V telling me to eat faster. We got the whole gang of legends in here. Wow. Space Creep. Murder Cycle. Holy shit. Oh, you didn't hear me, Fizzy. Sorry. Low Clown and Munchie Girls
Hi,
in
babe.
here.
I have something for you.
Radham gifting a sub to Sailor V, courtesy of Tommy Wiseau. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. What a story. 5:09 a.m. Yeah, 5:09 a.m. is usually my bedtime. Drinking coffee and blazing. That's the way to do it. So yeah, we're in for a good show tonight. I am going to give a shout out to the Thuggalo Show just because they were nice enough to invite me out to shoot and edit that vlog for them. Man, am I winded already? GTS want me to hydrate. Holy shit. Ducky Tumblers available in the shop. Champ looking thirsty. I think shop's a command. Maybe not. Store, maybe? There it is, store. Yeah, if you want to get, some of my shit, feel free to. Follow the Thuggalo Show. Follow each other. Jerk each other off. Circle jerk. Why not?
Davey scores.
Dub Selector with the follow. Thank you. Thank you for the follow, my friend. Davey does score indeed. Brings me up to 345. I'm so close to 350. So thank you. I appreciate that so much, homie. The top guy in JDW. That's right, the champion. I don't see Nobog in the chat. I was going to kind of rub it into him, but what can you do? So tonight, actually, you know what? Let's do this right. Give me just a second here. Oh, you know what that music means. Time for me to flex this intro yet again. So let's do this. sure this is paused. So yes, welcome to the official start of the Midnight Macabre. Handsome director boy, indeed. Sailor Vesta, thank you. Thank you. Takes a handsome boy to know one. From parts unknown, the master of disaster, Davey Scorsese. That's right. New champ emotes for those who are subscribed to me, because let's face it, I am the champ. Also, Sailor flexing the new JSN emote I added as well. Straight up took that right from Captain Juggalo, so make sure you're giving the homie Captain Juggalo a follow. I see him in the chat right there. If you're not, those designs are fucking dope. I love the new JSN logos he's done. He's been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3, which I've been trying to avoid because I want to play that game. I don't want too much spoiled for me. I've heard it's contender for Game of the Year, and there's some stiff competition this year. You know, the new Zelda. What else? Maybe that's it. But anyway, I've done like a shit ton of videos on tonight's subject, and wouldn't you know it, my favorite go-to for this program, Nexpo, has uploaded a video about it just yesterday or the day before. If you're not subscribed to Nexpo on YouTube and you like creepy shit like this, I highly recommend you do. He's got some great shit, some great topics. He's got the voice of an angel. Got to get an animated one done for you. That's right, I won Preston's contest. Don't know how much details I can disclose about what that entails, but I got to get with Preston and Tina Davis on how we're going to do that. But without further ado, we're going to dive back into Petscop, which if you haven't been following my channel, I've done like 3 videos on Petscop so far. It's like really like I'm milking it dry at this point. This will be the last Petscop stream, I swear. Just Nexpo's like brilliant at like piecing things together and making sense of shit that that even I can't do. So, in a nutshell, Nexpo, or whoop whoop. Nah, milk it, homie, milk it. I ain't milking you, GTS the King. Nah, whoop whoop that pal top shit. Preston Payne. But Petscop is like this weird video game that doesn't exist. Just a video of like a Let's Play by this guy named Paul. And a lot of weird shit happens in this game as he plays it. Things that I couldn't even explain when I was going through it. So I'm really hoping. I did one deep dive into it already, and you know the guy kind of explained it, but he had a hell of a speech impediment. You know, got his R's and his W's confused quite a lot. God damn it, GTS the King. We're not gonna get. You're gonna force me to have to tell that story one day. He does have a fuckable voice, T-Fits. And if you don't believe me, we're gonna find out right now. We're gonna get into Nexpo's deep dive on Petscop. Great timing, T-Fits. So yeah, let's see what this is all about. Series discusses subjects that some viewers may find disturbing, including psychological abuse. So yeah, if you're triggered by that, well, you've been warned.
The year is 1981.
This is why I love you guys. This is why I love you guys.
The popularity of the classic arcade is at its peak, often dubbed the Golden Age. Defender, Centipede, Pac-Man, Berserk, Space Invaders, you name it, you can play it. There is one game, though, that stands anomalous. It's a black sheep, a diamond in the rough.
You might have been born when this game, not oblivious. We're going way
It's named Polybius, and by the early 2000s, it would cement itself as one of the very first video game urban legends.
Okay, I wasn't even born when this shit came out.
You've heard of it before, and at this point you know that it isn't real. It's a hoax, but that hadn't slowed intrigue. Surprisingly, it all began with a single post on coinop.org, a database of coin-operated arcade games. The author made claims surrounding its players and how they develop severe conditions like amnesia, modified behavior, and horrible nightmares. It's definitely eerie, and playing something that alters the way you think, the way you behave, and the way you perceive the world around you would undoubtedly spark keen interest in locating it to try it for yourself. As expected, the game was never physically found, a point that would only later add fuel to an already raging mystery. To date, there is a monstrosity of info remaining around this game, and perhaps we'll come back to it at a later time. The point that I wanted to drive home here was the fact that this single post, this mysterious enigma, had successfully carved its own niche and paved the path for other video game mysteries to come. Others, like this one.
Oh, here we get the production value in Nexpo. Yes, I love it.
Petscop. A video game with supposedly one single copy, and an obscure and disturbing relic with a myriad of secrets. Within this game, there exists a backstory so complex and so intricate that documents spanning hundreds of pages exist just to dissect the mystery within.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. Thick Wicked, what up, homie? Tense music, not just PS1 boot up music. Well, I guess it depends, like, when you wait for that PlayStation logo to come up, you're like, oh shit, is it fucked up or not? Is it fucked up? Yes, we got the PlayStation logo. You and me both, GTS the King.
It's the 12th of March 2017, and a video enters cyberspace. It's 9 minutes long, and centers around a person named Paul documenting his experience playing a game called Petscop. Presented like a Let's Play, Paul records these episodes to prove to someone that he's not lying about a game he found planted within his home. Over the course of 24 videos, we follow a curious Paul, hell-bent on uncovering the secrets lying within this otherwise upbeat-looking game. Unbeknownst to him, though, he'd unearthed a bit more than he bargained for, sending him spiraling into a...
What if, like, you streaming Petscop and putting it on YouTube got it buzzing in some algorithms and it ended up in Nexpo's algorithm, and he's like, I'll do a video. You know, that's a possibility, but I don't think with the amount of time he put into this almost 3 hour long video that he would have been able to throw it together like within, 3 weeks? But that would be fucking cool if that's the case, T-Fits.
A wormhole of family secrets, and ultimately leaving him both unnerved and frustrated, with more questions than answers. Before we get to all that though, our journey starts a little more mundane, because right here, right now, Paul is in the midst of recording that proof, documenting to what seems like us, hard evidence that Petscop truly exists.
I'm not lying about this game that I found. I'm just gonna walk you through everything that I've seen so far. And obviously to be exactly as I described it, because this is it.
The game begins in what is called the gift plane. The player character is an inexplicable creature with large feet, hollowed eyes, a triangular mouth, and no hands. And the game itself? Made by Garalina, a company that does not exist. As of right now, the origins of both Petscop and Garalina are unclear. However, parts of the puzzle are likely to surface down the road. One of the first things Paul does is interact with this sign. The gift plane is closed indefinitely and all personnel have left. If you're unaware, the gift plane provided homes to over 100 young pets. Unfortunately, we failed to remove all the pets from their homes. 48 pets remain here at the time of writing. We would strongly encourage you to visit our 8 homes and find some friends to take with you. From here, Paul sets off to explore the gift plane, however quickly realizes that it's unfinished. 7 of the 8 buildings just aren't there, leaving Even Care as the one and only level available to explore.
This actually is not the interesting part, but I'm just gonna show you, I'm gonna walk you through all this so you can see that this is exactly what I described.
Paul could be Kid Rock.
Upon entering Even Care, Paul discovers a photo depicting a bird and flower named Toneth and Randus, respectively. Curiously, their names are color-coded, however, a reason why is not yet determined. What is determined is the fact that doors will be a roadblock because the player character doesn't have any hands.
Yeah, man, poor Paul can never jerk off.
Which kinda sucks. Paul goes on to catch a pet locked behind a cage named Amber, and following this, he encounters a room with one named Ronith, an amalgamation of Toneth and Randus who we saw in the picture prior. Ronith avoids Paul no matter what he does, leaving him stumped on how to capture them. And as a result, Paul pauses the game to explore the in-game compendium.
Actually, I should show you the pause menu. So, here you can see all the pets that you've collected, that you've caught.
What up, Slime? Baba Booey trying that shit out again. I hope it works out better for you this time, homie.
While he flies through it, Amber's description is interesting. Amber's a young bull. She's afraid to leave home. If her home is good, this is not a problem. She's very heavy, and that makes her life a little harder, as well as yours. What's the safest place you can put her in? You should start thinking about that.
Where's the safest place to put your bull?
If we can recall, Amber was locked behind a cage in what resembled a prison cell. And when Paul went out of his way to let her out, she would simply jump to the other. The only way to catch her was by surprise, by glitching through a wall, which leaves us to wonder why she was so hell-bent on staying within its confines. Even stranger is the item description within her room. It's a trophy, awarded to our Amber for being a real champ yesterday and today. She hasn't left her cage once. I don't know about you, but to me, it seems like she's being coerced into staying inside. The wardage is oddly confrontational and could be hinting at some sort of psychological abuse. Now, what the hell am I saying? This is a kid's game where we collect pets. I'm reading way too much into this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You're good, Nexpo, you're good. Just a kid's game.
Unable to figure out how to capture Ronith, Paul embarks to explore once more. In his venture, he discovers 3 other pets, all of which require solving puzzles before they can be captured. Upon capturing Randus the Flower, Paul explains that he's explored the entire map and has caught every pet available to him. Well, except for one. And so he returns to Ronith, revealing an interesting discovery.
Can't catch him. Can't catch Ronith.
Alright, so I still can't catch this guy. The reason we're here is because in the note that came with this, which is short, the first line in all capital letters, I'm going to read it. It says, I walked downstairs, and when I got to the bottom, instead of proceeding, I turned the right and became a shadow monster man. Below that, a date, June 13th, 1997. For you, please go to my website on the sticker, and also go to Ronith's room, and press start, and press down, 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 right, start.
Paul pauses the game to enter the code found on his note.
So I happen to know that this is Ronith's room, because it works, so I go here, I'm just gonna do this now.
Thank you. Thank you
So
for that.
what is it? Down, down,
Emotion.
down,
Juggalo
down,
Dundee.
down, right.
A true power.
Start. Alright. So you can see that it accepted it and the music stopped. I'm just gonna
Yes, exactly.
go out this way here.
Immediately, it becomes clear that something has changed. The music has stopped. Time stands still. And even
Hey, man,
Care
following
sits
Juggalo Dundee, you're fucking
completely lifeless.
Anytime the music stops in analog.
After
form, it's
exiting
never
to show us the outdoors, we learn that, at a fundamental level, Petscop has changed from a happy-go-lucky collectathon to something shrouded in secrecy, visually represented by a seemingly infinite, dreary, and barren plain of grass.
So there's nothing out here, as far as I've seen. But actually, I think there is something out here. I just haven't seen it yet.
It's John
Because
Cena.
it sure seems like... In this note here, it sure seems like, right, I'm supposed to come out here and look at something. I haven't found anything yet, but I'm thinking if I just keep walking around here, I'm going to find something eventually. Hey, so I was talking about how I couldn't find anything out here. Well, I just found this. And, last time I came out here, I was walking around in this space here for over an hour. And this time I find this in less than 15 minutes. So, this is just luck that I happen to find this.
Convenient, right?
And, I think if I were to restart my console right now, I would not be able to find this again. Probably, because I don't remember what I did. You know, all the directions that I went. So, so I'm kind of scared to, you know, I want to keep the console on until I figure this out. The situation is that I cannot open this door. I probably can open the door, but I don't know what to do. So, I thought I would just slip this in at the end. If you think you saw something that might provide a clue, please let me know. Alright, that's it.
Always good to slip it in the end.
I'm not gonna lie, I have always loved the ending of Petscop 1 because this door effectively serves as the point of no return. It's Thanos' Q-ship in Infinity War, the door to Xemnas in Kingdom Hearts 2, the point to where, if Paul enters this door, he ain't coming home for a while. This dead end almost seems like it's doing whatever it can to force him to stop playing. It's a metaphorical last chance, leaving Paul with a monumental decision.
That's true.
He can take the blue pill, shutting the game off, stashing it away, and living his life as it was before. Or he can take the red pill and staunchly wait by this door to see just how deep Petscop truly goes.
I love how much of a drama queen Nexpo is because of this shit right here. Stop using Matrix references. I love the Matrix. Well, the first one. Turn me up.
Alright. We got a long journey ahead of us tonight, but before we begin, I'd like to tell you guys about today's video sponsor, Guardio. To me, online security is invaluable, and it seems like each and every day, a new YouTube channel is being hijacked and converted to shilling some cryptocurrency. The possibility of my channel being taken from me like this horrifies me, which is why I trust Guardio to keep me safe. Guardio is a universal browser extension and mobile app that bridges the gap between new malicious scams and traditional antivirus software by safeguarding your internet activity as you use it. Once installed, Guardio immediately goes to work scanning your browser for existing threats and offering solutions.
Yeah, Guardio. I think I had an ad run, so this is actually convenient timing.
Security gaps you might have online. On top of that, it actively safeguards you from visiting any scam links, no matter if you found them on Google or clicked it in an email.
Brit the Kitty, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. What up, homie?
And actively works to fix any security issues you've had in the past, and to protect you for the future. You can scan your browser threats for free by
Mhm.
visiting guard.io/Nexpo.
Oh, shit.
With this, you'll get a 7-day free
Oh,
trial. to
yeah,
their premium
5
features,
biddies.
which includes real-time threat removal. So if
Thank
you want
you,
a clean and
homie.
secure browsing experience, again, go to guard.io/Nexpo or click the link in the description to check out their affordable premium plan
Shing.
for full protection over your internet browsing. Thank you so
Are you
much
putting
again
the
to
bits
Guardian.
towards this
Now,
Guardio shit?
let's go down the rabbit hole.
And here we go. Oh, thank you, homie. Petscop 2. Even like the fake loading screens he makes and shit. Like, oh, if I was on Nexpo's nuts any harder, I'd be a pubic hair. Shaggy the Airhead on the beat.
Hey, so, the door opened on its own. I was just in the other room for a couple of minutes, and I came back and the door was open, and I checked the recording, because I was recording, and the door just opens on its own. I didn't do anything.
Petscop 2 picks up directly where 1 left off. As we could see, the trapdoor had opened by itself, and as I'm sure we'd all do, Paul went inside.
Oh, who wouldn't go inside, am I
We're introduced
right?
to a dimly lit and sprawling underground labyrinth full of corridors, living quarters, and even roads with active traffic. Upon poking around for a bit, Paul begins collecting the bits on the ground before he hears something beckoning in the distance.
Phone?
Hello, Sydney.
What is this?
And so we're introduced to our first major character
Care.
aside from Paul. Someone denoted in yellow named Care, who, quote, left the room. Furthermore, we can see a bizarre flyer denoting a little girl in 3 emotional
Care
states.
left the room just like many
A
people
being content,
after my
B
stream
appearing
gets started.
disheveled, and NLM appearing to cry into their hands. So we're not running around in circles later. Just know that both Care and this little girl are the same person. Which, of course, answers one unknown, yet begs a question. What do these emotional states mean? And why are they here? From here, Paul begins poking around some corridors. In his venture, he encounters 3 portraits, with the first showing a greenhouse, the second a windmill, and the third a school, in which a foreboding sound echoes upon examination.
Yeah, that school is creepy as shit.
After this, Paul makes his way to a yard harboring a shed and a grave. And it's here where he discovers the resting place of a kid named Michael.
Poke around, you say?
Upon reading his gravestone, we discover that he died
That's
at
a
the
dead
age
kid?
of 7 and was purportedly a gift. At this point in time, we have absolutely not a shred of a clue who this kid even is or what his relation to anyone in the series is. But what does catch my eye is the fact that on his gravestone is a face, and sitting on top of it appears to be a gift box, falling in line with the quote and themes we've seen within Petscop so
Dead
far.
children. Oh. Hilarious.
Upon entering the shed, Paul encounters a
Sailor
large
V, you're
daisy.
the shit.
He begins plucking the petals before stopping near the last one due to last-second
Thank
apprehension.
fuck I don't have Happy Cat stickers
He
on my
heads
stream,
out and
though.
into the other door, and surprisingly, encounters the girl from the flyer, Care NLM, standing on a plateau with the stem protruding from her head.
Oh, she does have a stem. I never noticed the stem coming out of her head. Holy shit. You made her Adam watch Banana Cat. I bet he loved it.
And with nothing to interact with in this room, Paul returns to the flower to pluck the remaining petals.
You're surprised you're still together. She looks pissed.
Okay.
That's usually how most women look after spending more than a couple hours with me. That's my name, Britt the Kitty. Don't wear it out.
Whatever he did caused Care NLM to become a distorted mess. The room glows red, and she sits on the floor, twitching in agony. The red marks where her eyes otherwise would be make her appear almost dead.
Tonight
And
I'm
given the
watching
context that
this,
we'll touch on momentarily,
not drinking,
I wouldn't be surprised if
just
in
watching
state,
this Nexpo recap
she
of this
is.
Petscop series that I've been going over, because Nexpo is usually good at making sense of things. I'm drinking water. Whoop whoop. Unfortunately, I have to work tomorrow, so I'd rather not go in hungover. I'm
A
37.
few moments later,
So
Paul encounters an
chances of me being
obscure object
hungover
that he's able to
are higher and
interact
higher
with
every
in the form
day.
of questions.
Exactly what
He
Fizzy
asks
said.
him, "What?" To which it responds, "I don't
Nexpo
know."
always helps me understand what the fuck I just watched.
Curiously, behind it sits a screen displaying a windmill. And
Especially Gemini
strangely,
Home Entertainment.
As Paul's observing it, the ominous sound from earlier plays once again.
And then it starts going backwards, I believe.
Oh.
I think Paul just shit himself.
Alright, so it's been like 2 minutes. And when those sounds were playing, there was nothing happening as far as I could tell, and nothing has happened since. So I'm just gonna keep going. There's already been stuff that I could dig a little deeper into, and I'm gonna do that and keep you updated. But also, when you come home next month, and hopefully you're feeling a little more enthusiastic about that now, we can investigate this together, and maybe you'll find stuff that I can't find here.
Davey Subs!
Oh, hey!
No, he said, fuck, what was the question?
Thank you, Britt the Kitty. No, you're awesome. Thank you. The Miz would say he's awesome, but he's not a champion, and I am. So I think I'm a little beyond awesome at this point, wouldn't you say? But you're awesome. Thank you. I appreciate the sub.
It becomes clear that Paul isn't making these videos for us on YouTube. He's creating them for someone he knows. Someone he either lives or lived with at some point prior. We currently do not know who this is, so let's keep this context in the back of our mind moving forward.
We'll do Nexpo.
Towards the video's end, Paul finds a room called the Quitter's Room. Strangely, it's mirrored, and on the other side, the true side, is an eerie and crudely drawn face juxtaposed.
Oh shit. 210 Kicks is calling for help. I think he might be a skinwalker.
Upon the body of our player character.
Don't trust 210.
Clearly this face is out of place, which leaves us to wonder what their role is within Petscop, why they're on the unreflected side of the room, and most
Why do
importantly,
they seem to have a mind of their own?
why they do this.
It's almost like someone else is controlling them.
What the fuck? Wait a second.
Hey, there's Nilbog. Come to lay eyes upon the
What
champ.
was that just now?
Somehow, this girl exhibits movement on her own before correcting
I got
herself
a new
few moments
emote,
later.
a couple new emotes.
It seemed to be caused by the
Nilbog,
same
if you
jingle
wanna
that played at
test
the
them out.
beginning of this episode, establishing a strange feeling of sentience within this game. It seems to me that Petscop is toying with Paul in a way, yet at this point, we don't know what exactly its motives are. Towards the video's end, Paul discovers a note on the wall, reading,
No bug left.
being born, before poking around some more and leaving. He then heads out and upstairs into the grassy area, and ultimately brings Petscop 2 to a close.
Nilbog has left the room.
So within
Did I ever do the
Petscop 2,
Mandela catalog?
we
No,
were
I
introduced to
should.
Care.
I know that's
The girl
kind of older
exhibiting
though. I didn't know
multiple
if
states of emotion.
I thought maybe a lot of people
Left
already
the
know
room
about the Mandela
and became
catalog,
heavily distorted after plucking the daisy inside the shed.
but maybe
a
they
kid
don't.
named Michael Hammond is introduced, yet we get no further context about him, aside from the fact that he died at 7 years old and was a gift. Furthermore, we learn that Paul is making these videos for a specific person, displaying knowledge that he knows his videos are being watched in some capacity.
Nelson Mandela,
When
yes,
exploring the
it's
hallways,
very
we
terrifying.
encountered 3 portraits. A house, a windmill, and a school,
Him
which all
posing
seem
kinda
to
like
bear
an old
significance
Sears
that we'll need to
catalog,
look out
no
for. And lastly, we learned that the jingle from the beginning of the video was not just a one-off, as when it played inside
Sears
a playroom,
process,
the
yeah.
girl within it began to exhibit a mind of her own. So why did this happen? Why did that wall note ask about being born? Who even is Care? And who is Paul recording these for? It's clear that there's still a ton to learn about Petscop, as it's already a far cry from what was advertised in Petscop 1. And given everything going on, it seems like Paul might be in for a bit more than he bargained for.
Alright, so now we're gonna look at what's over here, which I forgot about this. So I'll look at this now.
Good grief. And alas.
Interesting.
A catazine. Yeah, there you go.
Good grief and alas. The phrase on the back wall, and also a quote from a story.
Daisy Head Maisie 666 from Scythe Gang 666.
Daisy Head, Daisy Head, Daisy Head, Maisie. Daisy Head, Daisy Head, Daisy Head, Maisie. Daisy Head.
Children, be quiet. Good grief and alas. To think this is happening right here in my class.
Oh.
Whoa, this looks familiar. The plot of Daisy Head Maisie involves a little girl who suddenly grows a daisy out of her head. Almost immediately, everyone in her school, her family, and her town freak out, causing her to become a spectacle.
It is a fever
as everyone
dream,
tries their
Fizzy.
hand at removing it. Because of this, she runs away, eventually finding the Cat in the Hat, who pleads for her to go back home. Maisie, however,
Cat in the
returns
Hat looks like
with
he's
an
been through some
interesting
rough
plan.
times. Holy shit. I don't
can
think the Cat in the
never go
Hat
home.
slept in a month.
Nobody loves me. Nobody loves me.
He did miss an opportunity to say Daisy Scorsese.
It's almost
Yeah,
certain
that
the
Hex
events
album is
happening
fucking
with
dope.
Care are alluding to the plot of Daisy Head Maisie. Towards the story's end, Maisie plucks the flower petals, alternating between They Love Me and They Love Me Not. The last one she picked, though, was They Love Me, and so she heads back home and all is well. On the contrary, it seems that with
I love
Care,
a happy
the
ending.
flower ended on They Love Me
Just
Not,
like, Deshaun
effectively
Watson.
affirming her emotional state.
I do enjoy a
Being
happy
Care,
ending.
Nobody loves me. Perhaps this glitch is a representation of her sense of self. Maybe she's breaking down in tears. Maybe she's dead.
She looks
Whatever
pissed
it
to
is,
me.
it's clear that it isn't good, leaving us wondering who exactly her character represents.
I've dealt
if
with
anyone,
many of,
and what the hell
plenty
happened to
of
her.
pissed off women, and that's a telltale sign right there. Start glitching out, getting red in the face. Maybe it's Maybelline.
I think I have to put something there.
That's what she said.
Paul stumbles upon a room with a canvas called the Child Library. Upon interacting with it, it asks him to
Maybe
construct
it's
a face
methamphetamine.
using several preset facial features. And after trying one out, the room begins to rumble before the back exit becomes available. As it turns out, custom bedrooms are rendered based upon your input, and everything from the room color to the carpets and even the items on the table can vary.
It's like Shaggy Two Dope's lamp.
Upon recalling the faces from Mike's grave in the shed, Paul tries his hand at both of them, revealing an interesting discovery with the latter.
Here's the other room.
On the table of Care's room is the red object Paul questioned in Petscop 2 and some crayons.
I know,
The
No Ball.
carvings
You're
is a pink
filling in the
roll
gaps
daisy,
for everyone's
and
opportunities
on the
at
back wall is a note.
you know, them jokes, them knee slappers.
Your wife says Care
That's
isn't
messed
growing
up.
eyebrows. You say, that's a puzzle. You're secretly very excited to hear this news. You're in the bathtub thinking about her.
This is
I
fucked
have a
up right
guess of
here.
which child you'll pick next. When you find her room, the passage to my right will lead to her. She'll appear from the darkness, limping, and I'll shoot her in the head. Tiara says young people can be psychologically damaged beyond rebirthing. A young person walks into your school. They walk in with you. You're holding their hands. They come out crying into their hands because nobody will love
I know,
them.
Fizzy No Ball's
Not
being a
ever
regular
again.
Carlos Mencia
Nobody
tonight.
loves me. They wander the New Maker plane. Alright, so within this was a
Yeah, it
ton
did
of
escalate
information.
quickly.
To start, we learn that Care's parents are represented by the colors blue and green, and another person named Tiara enters the mix, represented by the color purple.
Oh, look, the Lithium Queen has joined
Interestingly,
us.
she mentions both psychological damage and rebirthing, leaving us to
Well, we
wonder
got a
if this
champion
has to do with
and
Care
royalty
and her various emotional
in the
states.
chat now. How are you doing?
We know that Care's been undergoing some sort of psychological torment, supported by both the connection to Daisy Head Maisie and the claim that she isn't growing eyebrows. To be honest, it almost seems like she isn't growing them because she isn't
Lithium
allowing
Queen
them
just
to.
got some sweet ink done.
She's picking at them, which begs yet another question. Why is the
No
father
one's gonna
excited
steal
to hear
Fizzy's
that?
laugh like Ursula.
What exactly is the family dynamic between them?
Very tired.
At
Well,
the
don't
end,
stay
we
awake
learn
on my
that Care
account.
NLM is wandering something called the New Maker plane.
Nexpo's
Why
voice
it's
should put
called
you right
this
to
is
sleep.
currently unclear. However, it is an interesting reference.
I don't think anybody could replicate Fizzy's laugh, to be honest. Oh shit,
In
what's
April
this?
of 2000, an 11-year-old girl named Candace Tiara Elmore was undergoing attachment therapy with the goal to metaphorically rebirth her under the name Candace Elizabeth Newmaker.
The New Maker. Oh,
For
yeah.
over a week, Newmaker would
This
undergo
is
intensive
fucked up
physical
right
and
here.
psychological abuse at the hands of her adoptive parents and unlicensed therapists, Connell Watkins and Julie Ponder. During the second week, for 70 minutes, the four adults had wrapped her in a flannel sheet and covered her with pillows to simulate a birth canal, and she was tasked with escaping on her own volition. 11 times, Newmaker shouted that she was dying, and that she couldn't do it, but the adults did not care. Go ahead, die right now, for real.
CPT.
Ponder claimed as the group maintained their combined 673 pounds of weight upon her. All she could force herself to mutter was no, which would also be the last word that Candace Newmaker would ever speak. 40 minutes in, Ponder repeated, "Quitter, quitter, quitter,
Davey
she's
scores.
a quitter."
Oh, I got you.
As Candace Newmaker's
Hey,
life
Hayes for Sheriff
faded
giving me a
from
follow.
beneath her.
Thanks. I was, Radom, Juggalo Dundee rated you earlier.
She did not survive.
Thanks for returning the follow, my friend. Coming in some pretty dark stuff going on. Those people do deserve the chair. That's fucked up.
The connections between this murder and Petscop are clear. However, in the years following Petscop's release, its creator has come forth to state that this game was not meant to be about her, but the themes surrounding the atrocities of child abuse. Petscop is its own story, and while it references outside events and media, what's taking place within this game is self-contained.
So that shuts that theory down.
Something is going on within this family.
Thank you for the 100 bits and for getting my juices flowing there, Cowabunga dude. Whew. Good thing this camera is only from about here up, you know what I'm saying? Because, whoo, man, that moan just gets me going.
Is right at the heart of it.
Take them home.
In Petscop 4, Paul maps out the Newmaker plane with his knowledge of the labyrinth underneath it. After tracing his steps to where the windmill screen would be
What up,
underground,
Bunga?
he encounters the camera that's feeding it. He heads north to where the windmill should be. However, all that greets him is a floating platform. The windmill is gone and can somehow only be seen under the Newmaker plane. In Petscop 5, Paul's underground and asks the red object a series of questions.
Hell yeah, GTS.
Who is Tiara? To which it responds, Petscop Kid very smart. Who am I? With the response, Newmaker.
Oh god, not that album. Let's not bring up Heartbroken.
Under the Newmaker plane. Oddly, right after this question, it turns pink.
There we go. I want to give
surprise.
Bunga a shout out.
And so he asks, "Who are you?" Weirdly, it takes this object 20 seconds to respond before it demands that he turn off PlayStation. And after asking why, it states,
My pleasure, homie.
Tool hurts me when PlayStation
Even is not
on.
following Bunga by now.
A
You're
few
a fucking
minutes
idiot
later,
because
the
the
object
streams
returns
are always
to color
quality.
red. Paul inquires on who it is once more, to which it simply states, Tool.
Tool.
Yet again, we encounter another instance where Petscop seems to take a mind of its own. Something happened causing Tool to turn pink,
Those matching
and it's starting to
Pokemon
seem like
booby
the skin
tats.
can switch from being
I'm down for
autonomous
that.
to manually controlled in the blink of an eye. Also, who this Marvin person is unclear. However, given the context Tool provided about him, it really doesn't appear that his intentions are very good.
Can't get Twitch on little Rokus? That does suck. Wait, what are we zooming in on? What is this?
Outside of the Petscop game are curiosities hidden within the video descriptions. Within this one, we can observe a
I never
myriad
did
of
think to
questions
read all
that
these
prompted the
descriptions.
default response of I don't know. And towards the end of it, we find a peculiar claim. When the color changed, we were able to ask 2 questions. Not I.
Oh, thanks, Bunga. Yeah, I need to figure out how to get that sent to
This
them.
entire time,
The $100
we've
bucks
assumed
for
that
Trevor
Paul's running a
Project.
one-man show. The only reference we got to any other person was on the phone call from Petscop 2, and it seemed at the time that they weren't even around, which effectively leaves us with a glaring question. If Paul isn't the one running this channel, who is?
I have no idea yet. I've watched 3 long-ass videos of this, and I still don't really have an idea. I mean, it probably is AIDS, Bunga. You're probably right. It always boils down to AIDS. You You know, the windmill represents a truck
Petscop
stop.
6 opens showing the windmill. The ominous sound rings twice, and 2 hours and 39 minutes later, a dark figure emerges from the background. They approach the windmill, somehow reverse its direction, and cause a low rumble to fill the air. They then approach and maneuver the camera before spelling out a series
Melvin
of statements.
Troy, the child murderer boy. Yes,
Where's my
boy.
house? Where is the school? And I will follow. During this, we can observe the greenhouse, the school, various objects,
Paw Patrol
and even
McGregor,
Tonith
yeah.
spawn in.
That's a good way
before
to
this
describe
person
it.
returns the camera to its default position. And once again, time passes, and the windmill disappears.
That's kind of fun, actually. Going through a 4-hour video and noticing that on one half of the video, the windmill's going one direction, and in the other half, it's going in the other direction. And pinpointing where the change occurred, and the fuck is this? That's neat.
Yeah, there's tons of
After
theories
returning
out
to the
there,
new maker plane,
GTS.
Paul discovers the camera is now red, and behind it sits the message from the Shadow Man. Eerily, Tonith just stands there,
Gumball,
menacingly. And so, Paul takes it upon himself to catch them.
Well, this is still here. Oh my god.
Hey, but what's important is that you've taken away something from it.
Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. At this point, it's bizarre to hear that jingle. Given the overarching landscape of Petscop as we know it now, it's clear that Paul's in too deep to turn back, being lured deeper and deeper into the game's grasp by his own undying curiosity. Catching Tonith is a reminder, a memento, of the once upbeat game he was sold on, and it also mirrors the dynamics of Paul's life before he ever booted it up. Given that he found Petscop at his house, it implies that the
That's what I
relationship
said
between
when
he
I
and
first
his family
started
will
doing
change.
this, is that Paul looks
At
like
this point,
Squidward
the
on
cat's
meth.
out of the bag. Why was Petscop in his home? After catching Tonith, Paul opens the pet compendium to read more about them. Yet, instead of a normal description, we observe that it's unfinished, with mere placeholder text where it should be. Yet, as Paul advances, he realizes that there's more to it. Reading. A bird. I think I forgot what birds look like. Funny stupid blob monster, says Mike. Yeah, that's what it is. Painter.
I've been called that many
Painting
times
puzzle.
myself.
Catch Randus first? Had broken leg for some reason. I already hung him on a wall, too late to take it back. It makes me think about the dog, actually, because when the car hit him, I thought, at least it'll be over soon. He survived.
I forgot who done Sandy's meth. That's what it is.
Put him down. The dog isn't innocent. When that dog wags its tail and appears happy, it's not real. I guess that's Tonith then. Alright, so as we've seen before, Petscop is absolutely chock full of non sequiturs. The descriptions of the notes and pets seem to jump from one logical thought to something completely out of left field, and it's especially evident here. The first two lines are clearly linked to Michael Hammond. At some point, it's plausible that he gave some childlike input to whoever was developing this game.
Oh, I thought you were calling
Right
me a
after the
funny,
mention
stupid
of his
blob
name,
monster. I say
it jumps
that.
to what appear to be
How
traits
original.
and requirements to catch Tonith in what would be his room and even care. For some reason, though, it seems that when writing these notes up, the dev's mind began to wander, reminding them of their dog who was hit by a car and had to be put down. It clearly bothers them. Well, at least until the very last page, when they accept what Toneth will always symbolize to them. As Paul explores the compendium a bit more, he encounters a new page of catchable pets, clearly being slots for Care A,
Oh shit, broken
B,
leg at the gathering?
and LM. Now, while the fourth one is still unknown, what this ultimately drives home is the fact that Paul can catch Care. He just has to find her. Later on, Paul returns to Tool and presents it two questions. Where's my house?
Where's
To which
my hoe?
replies,
Oh, house.
You'll never go home. And where's the school? With the response, you can't go back in time.
Pokemon on
And
acid.
unsure of
That
what
sounds
exactly this
alright.
means, Paul heads back to the yard, finally expressing concern that Petscop might be more than it's letting on.
Pokemon on acid with undertones of child abuse.
This game is trying very hard to make it seem like there's an entity in it. Like a ghost or an AI trying to communicate with me. It's interesting.
Oh, good. Fizzy got her laugh back.
But you know, the way you know that there's a ghost in a game trying to communicate with you is if it comes out, if it stops being distant, and it comes out and you can have a real-time back and forth with it.
Paul then explains how the tool wasn't properly answering his questions and how he made a new file to test out the game's continuity. As it turned out, in his new file, things were in completely different places.
There's a lot of things
Events
it
happened
seems
at
like
different
Paul's
times,
not aware of.
And purportedly, he even made it to the correct side of the quitter's room.
Looking forward to what I might see next. It's very interesting, this game, because you can walk around and something will just happen. You know? Because I created a new file, and I tried to be scientific about it. I went and did all the same things that I did this time, and the same things did not happen. None of the things happened. None of the oddities occurred. Like the thing in the mirror room, for example.
A bully off between Nilbog and
So there's a bit of
that would be
randomness in it,
wonderful.
and it's interesting how it doesn't seem to really care if you see everything, I guess.
I saw Sailor V almost bully
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Juggalo Dundee to his breaking point tonight with the Happy Cat.
It's at this point when Paul is finally undergoing a change in heart. The
That's
game's
Scrooge,
mechanics,
yes.
the bizarre changes
Triple homicide,
at the
just
drop
be
of a
like,
hat,
okay,
the
that's
visual
interesting.
distortions, the cryptic responses from Tool, things taking a mind of their own.
Paul seems kind of like
and
a
the questions
sociopath.
constructed by a character that seems to have its own intentions are finally compounding into less of a game and more of what seems like an entity. Paul is finally realizing what we as a viewer already have, that Petscop isn't and has never been the gift plane, because the vast majority of the development effort has been focused on everything taking place in and around the new Maker plane. Looking back on Paul as a character, he is a person ravaged by curiosity. He picks up every collectible, examines every single object, and progresses through the Petscop rabbit hole, led by his own suspicion. This game is feeding him with mystery, stringing him along like a pet tracking down a bone.
See, it's still
It's
haunting
playing
Juggalo
him.
Dundee.
But he just can't let it go.
See, Nobog always checks to see if I'm mad at him when he makes some kind of meme or something at my expense. And then I think he's very disappointed when I find it hilarious and entertaining. And I'm not mad at him.
Petscop 7 opens in the quitter's room. Paul stands in the corner while he shuffles through
Superfly,
some
voiced
pages that
by
more than likely notes
Ice
he's taken
Cube.
along his journey. While he's doing so, though, a tune plays from the other side of the room, to Paul's surprise.
It's a nice apple.
And you. Nothing. I think Baxter is different from Superfly, isn't he?
Oh, hi there.
Yeah. Son of Baxter.
Immediately after
or
the
maybe
song
he's
finishes,
Baxter's
the girl
bastard.
pops in and follows Paul as she did before. Given the timing, it almost seems like she was the reason it was playing in the first place. If this were the case, it wouldn't be the only
No, I'm not
instance
thirsty
of
now. I
audible
was
cues
thirsty earlier.
synchronizing with anomalous events within Petscop, as we've seen this happen with both the Shadow Man and Jingle from previous episodes. Moving on, Paul returns to the sign on the wall and notices an interesting change. It demands for him to come here, with the handwriting and color matching what we saw from Pink Tool in Petscop 4.
Pink Tool.
And upon returning
Looks
to
like,
it,
like
Paul
a very
encounters a
painful
message
butt
waiting
plug.
for him. I love you, new maker. Please show Marvin where his house is.
Well, I don't have a mug, but I have a tumbler.
This clearly alludes to the Shadow Man's question from earlier, and also establishes the fact that his name is Marvin. In
Marvin, I
response,
shot Marvin
Paul
in the
asks,
face.
Who are you? To which Tool responds, go there and he'll follow you. His daughter's there. And lastly, he asks the question, remember being born? To which it replies with, also wants 1,000 pieces for Machine Beyond School Basement Stairway. Interesting.
Oh, fuck, I just shot Marvin in the face. Yeah,
So,
that Marvin scene is one of the most hilarious
person who,
scenes.
in
Still
previous
holds up. It's
episodes,
just fucking
was hinted at
hilarious.
possessing negative intentions.
Samuel L. Jackson's
Someone
reaction
who,
to
quote,
everything just
picks
makes
up
me
Tool,
fucking die
hurts
laughing
me
every
when
time.
PlayStation on. Someone who is looking for their house is looking for a
David
school
for me
and
to
who
poop.
has a
Oh,
daughter.
you got me with the old triumph
I'm
insult.
sure you can see the parallels between he and who we assumed to be Kare's father from earlier. This was the man that was excited to hear the news of her picking at her eyebrows. The man who was thinking about her in the bathtub. And the one man in the very same note that later references a school. Now, I'm not definitively saying that Marvin is Kare's father. However, the evidence is clear. The only connection we need
I kind of
to
figured
really
that when
drive
I
this
was
home
watching this.
is a link between Marvin and the color green. If we establish that, we can then learn a bit more about Kare's home life to seriously begin dissecting Petscop's underlying story.
Well, there you go.
Child abuse.
Child library accepts people.
Night night, keep it tight and bite the pillow. Will do. Make sure you laugh at child
Paul
abuse.
returns to the child library
Monoxide
and
child
interacts
abuse.
with what appears to be a Dropbox. He opens the compendium to select a pet. However, the game
Can't wait
claims
for
the
that
child library,
three-headed monster.
quote,
Godzilla
only
album
accepts people.
by the Twizzlers.
For a game centered around pets, I do find this strange. And even more so that the only human we've seen in the entire game is conveniently the only non-pet that we can catch. To our knowledge, we can't catch Marvin, and we can't catch the Quitter, which means that this shaft is only meant for one person.
I know. I thought like that was a purpose. I thought every time child abuse is mentioned, you play that sound alert, Sailor V. I didn't know that was unintentional. That makes it even funnier.
Paul recalls the prevalence of eyebrows within Petscop and inputs Mike's face without any. Upon entering the generated room, we observe a road, stars, and a gift box on the carpet with the car and Rubik's Cube on the table. To be honest, nothing here really stood out to Paul.
I mean,
But
well, I
that's
guess
okay,
it's not funny, but it is kind of funny.
because he had a better idea. He enters Kare's face.
Yeah,
but
child
with
abuse is
eyebrows.
never funny unless the child's a
Specifically,
clown.
Mike's.
This one is Care with eyebrows.
This time, the room's carpet contained gears, sabers, and dots, and on the table is an interesting find.
Ah, yes, the censorship boxes. These pissed me off so bad. Nexpo, you better explain.
So this is Care with Eyebrows. I put Mike's eyebrows on her. I could have put other eyebrows on her, but I didn't. I put Mike's on her.
And you called him Dr.
I
Jones.
don't know if this... I can't tell. I can't tell if it recognized it or not. Because everything looks...
The correct eyebrows on, damn it.
Like any other room. What's this here? Except it puts...
Kalima.
This...
Prepare to meet Kali in hell. Well, that sounds more like Vince McMahon.
I don't know,
Indiana
maybe that's
Jones.
just something that it puts in any room.
Barring the fact that the item on the right is censored, we'll come back to that. Whatever
that
it was,
drove me fucking
unnerved Paul
insane.
so much that he's left second guessing if the game placed that item there intentionally, or if this was completely random. He states over and over that he could have generated any room using any eyebrows, but he put Mike's. Effectively, he's trying the best he can to rationalize why something so jarring could be rendered.
You know, I
in a
used
game
to
like
say
this,
that Temple of
attempting to
Doom
explain it
was a
away
piece of shit
has no
movie,
chance.
simply because I hated the
Regardless of what
character
he
Willie.
thinks, though, the blocks to our left
But I
tell
find
us as a
myself
viewer all we
quoting
need to
Temple of
know,
Doom more than any other Indiana Jones movie.
because they spell out care.
So really, it's
This
not a piece
room
of shit movie.
was entirely intentional.
I
And
still
given
fucking
that
hate
censor,
Willie, but
Paul has
the
uncovered
movie is
something
fucking
that he
dank.
more than likely was not supposed to. And towards the video's end, this idea is cemented further.
But yeah, the moral of the story is, if you're a director, take it from me, I'm a Scorsese. Don't cast your wife in a movie just because you're fucking her.
We've had to cover something with the black box.
One-eyed Willie.
Right now, we can't say why. Some other things we're expecting to censor in the future. A big present
You got
with a
me.
sticker on it.
You got me, Chocolate
Something on a
Dundee.
wall in a black house. Written on a chalkboard.
More like Boney, am I right? Right. That's what I was getting at, Fizzy.
A second
That's kind of what I
reference
was
to a
getting
group.
at.
At this point, it's safe to assume that Paul is not in control of the Petscop YouTube channel. The gameplay, yes. The channel, no. Whoever they are, know the content of Paul's gameplay to come, leading us to theorize that
James
he either
Gunn's wife's
pre-recorded
taters,
all
one of
this
the
for these
American
people,
Pie spinoffs.
or
Nice.
that this group is behind the Petscop game and know of the exact spots to censor once he gets there.
Okay, don't
No
put a
matter
woman
what
in a
it is,
movie
though,
just
we're left
because
to
you're
wonder
fucking her.
why
How about
Paul's
that?
experience is being shared with the world like this. In prior episodes, he's had conversations with family members and presumably close friends. So why share something so intimate? With this knowledge, I can't help but call into question the well-being of Paul as a person. What we assumed was a real-time set of recordings for a close friend
Paul
has
W.S.
morphed into something ominous and cryptic. And given the mental toll Petscop has already taken on him, I'm honestly not very optimistic on how he's doing now.
Yeah, not looking good for Paul. Gum Paul, if you will. You like that one, Sailor V? Gum Paul? I crack myself up. Paul Andrew, the director of Big Money Hustlers, wasn't that Paul Andreessen? Or no, that was John Paul. Wasn't there like something Andreessen
Petscop
directed
8
something
opens with Paul
psychopathic
shitting
related?
around on the road.
Was it Rustlers?
He notices that once he leaves it, a car flies by, and so he just stands on it.
This isn't a Family Underground, that's right. See, now I noticed
And a
the
few
car.
moments later,
And yeah, I hated Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 with the hyper focus on
what?
Michael's mom, played by Sherry Moon Zombie. Like it was trying to replicate like some kind of
Fucking
Jason thing.
bingo.
Oh shit.
Marvin.
It's Marvin.
Is green.
He looks like the Iron Sheik.
Marvin is Kara's father. Every connection so far, every hint in that note, from Tool and from what Marvin's trying to find, lines up. So let's see what he wants.
What?
Unsurprisingly, Marvin leads
You don't
us
know
to that picture.
He fits?
Cool.
Let me get a freeze frame. See, I see the Iron Sheik. I see like here's his like mustache. Right? And here's like one of his thick ass eyebrows. All he needs is like a Sheik over his head, some bad knees, and say a fuck the Hulk Hogan, and you got the Iron Sheik right there. The mustache is a dead giveaway. Glad to clear that up for you.
Something we know he's trying to find. Following this, he takes us to the photo of his house before heading off and running into a wall. Initially, Paul laughs it off. However, towards the episode's end, he postulates that there may have previously been a path where Marvin took off.
Yeah, well the thing is, it's not here now. There's not even a passageway or anything.
So yeah, you have to visualize.
Can you remember when you saw this?
And yes, Sailor V, 3 from Hell was a piece of shit movie. Oh, come on, Redneck has to be allowed? And Sherry Moon Zombie didn't look like no baby in that movie.
Well, it could have changed between then and 2004. After 2004, my mom had it reportedly. Well, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, I can't imagine the shit you have to allow on
After
Shaggy
2004,
Show, Sailor V.
my mom had it.
After 2004, my mom had it. What the hell? Where's that from?
Given Paul's prior confusion
Just
about
don't let
this
it happen
game,
again,
it's
'cause-
safe to
No, I'm
assume
joking.
that he's referring to it on the phone. This implies that the one and only copy of the Petscop game has been in his family's possession since it was developed in 1997. Keeping in mind that the original premise of this channel was for Paul to prove to someone that he's not lying about this game that he found, it leads us to assume that Paul
Hit by a car, broke her
may
leg, and we
have
had to
been
put her
meant to
down.
find this, because why would his mother have it in the first place? With the context from Petscop 7's cliffhanger, that idea bears more and more weight the longer I think about it. In some capacity, his actions are being watched, and while we're unsure of exactly why, it's crystal clear that Paul has lost control of the very thing he simply set out to explore.
I remember that, no bug.
Paul isn't playing Petscop
Petscop's playing Paul
anymore.
See, if even Nexpo can't make heads or tails of this, then... So now it's in... I remember this is where I got confused as shit. 'Cause it's in demo mode for like the majority of the rest of this.
Petscop 9 begins at the title screen. Given the silence, it implies that the console has been left unattended. A few moments later, we can observe a loading screen before a Petscop demo begins to play. Interestingly, this takes place at even care. However, various doors, rooms, and even the music are completely different from how it was when Paul first experienced it. One of the most interesting bits of gameplay comes from the treadmill room. As we can recall, Paul had used this to catch a pet, However, here, that pet is non-existent. Nevertheless, the player still jumps upon the treadmill to lower the number from 16 to 3 before stopping for a very noticeable amount of time.
I just hope Nexpo covers the Ace of Base, the signs segment.
Throughout the years, it's been found that this treadmill segment
The numbers are
synchronizes
bad.
perfectly with something we've seen before.
See if they're the numbers from Lost. I have a theory. From the show Lost. Oh wait, this is his theory. They're lined up with the... Holy shit, no way. How the fuck would he figure that out?
Wait.
How did he piece that together? What? That just blew my fucking
This
mind.
synchronicity implies that there's some sort of recording mechanic going on within Petscop, and could explain why Marvin kept running into a wall during the last episode. With this in mind, it's implied that Petscop carries its own dichotomy: live player input and past player recordings, both of which can interact at either different times or within different versions of the Petscop world. More on that later. Later, we see Paul messing around in the yard.
But he's quiet.
He heads in to check on Distorted Care before poking around the entrance to that basement. To his surprise,
He
though,
becomes a
he
shadow
glitches
man.
through the shed
Yeah.
wall to become the Shadow Man referenced in his note,
I
and
remember
follows
this.
up on this by heading to where the windmill should be.
His name was Daisy Scorsese.
You're kidding me.
It's clear that Paul is confused, because he is now what he perceived Marvin to be. He's an enigma, a shadow, a featureless creature that symbolizes the very thing Petscop is trying so hard to be.
Which can be found at an Ohio truck stop.
Upon heading inside the windmill, Paul encounters a sign with another face and a figure of a little girl perched atop a contraption. To his right is Tool, and after interacting with it, it gives him 50 bits.
50 bits. He pulled his dick out and it was a Daisy.
After
His
heading
name is
back
Daisy.
and putting the newly discovered face
Daisy.
into the child library, Paul receives the following prompt.
That's a good one, Nobog. That's a good one. You're on a roll tonight.
You found her. Before he finds a room with both a note on the back wall and another version of the player character in the background. Interestingly, we'll soon find that this other player mimics the exact movements Paul makes later in this video. Now, this could either be a massive coincidence, or somehow Petscop as a game has an ability to predict his movements. This, in a way, falls in line with the censor message from earlier, as they too claim to know of certain events that hadn't even happened yet. Upon interacting with the table, Paul observes a red tool in the windmill, and after examining the note on the back wall, he finds that it reads the following. You must have guessed, but I was looking through your things. I found that picture of you from 1977, standing in front of an old windmill with your friend. You went there, and it was a bad idea. Your friend and the windmill both disappeared into thin air. Her sister was holding the camera.
The windmill did
She took
disappear.
another picture minutes later. Just you. No windmill. And no friend. You
Well,
married
that's
her
a sad
sister,
ending.
and years later, your friend was reborn as your daughter. Your wife won't admit this is true, but I know it because I found the evidence. Your friend never
Okay.
returned with you, and the windmill was gone. I went to see it myself. Where is it? What did you do? Rainer. Newmaker.
Oh shit, the new maker. Back to the psychotic couple
Alright,
that murdered
so we
that
have
kid.
a second mention of the first your wife.
I was
The
waiting for
first
a Pee Wee
reference in
Herman
Care
sound alert from
wasn't
Sailor
growing
V.
eyebrows, and now referencing how she won't admit this windmill situation is true. So, backing up, we have a strange situation involving who I'm assuming to be Marvin and two sisters, his future wife and his friend, who all went to an old windmill in 1977. At some point, both his friend and the windmill vanished. He later married his friend's sister, and somehow his vanished friend was reborn as their daughter. Keeping in mind our prior connection about Care being Marvin's daughter, it leaves us to wonder what her overall role is in this situation. Going by this note and the prior references to being born, it seems that Care might be the result of this supposed rebirthing. That is, if we take this literally and assume that every single thing Raynor's saying here is true. And that's the problem here. We've hardly met this person. We're unsure of what their motives are. We know that they have a very bizarre style of presenting thoughts. They bombastically claim that a fucking windmill vanished, and for all we know, could simply be running with a circumstantial assumption that Marvin's friend was reborn. No matter what, it seems that Raynor is hell-bent on believing that Marvin has done something unforgivable. In a way, he's allegedly played a hand in killing off a little girl for his own benefit. Yet, given the references to Care's psychological torment, it's clear that even she has been the victim of him as well.
Yeah, Marvin's not a good person.
What is going on? How the hell does a windmill just disappear? And who exactly is Raynor?
If you don't know Bombastic, look no further than Shaggy. Not too dope, but Shaggy of It Wasn't Me fame. Right? Who made the windmill
Paul
disappear?
leaves through the back of this room, heads down a hallway, and into
Who
a
the
party
fuck
room
is
with
disappearing
two
the
gifts.
windmills even?
When he opens the first
Captain
gift,
Fizzlebeef?
he obtains a green key, and upon opening the second, this happens.
This is where he gets shook beyond like belief. The big black box that we can't see what the fuck it is.
What the fuck?
Paul's never the same after this. I remember this.
Some sort of large rotating pyramid emerges to Paul's surprise, and no further context is given.
Frustrating.
A few moments later, Paul finds a secret exit leading to a tight corridor with a single gift box.
Right, because Paul hasn't been fazed by anything.
It opens and draws the camera inside. Interestingly, as this happens, we can hear a choir sound before Paul regains control.
Look at that loading screen.
As we can say, much of the game has changed, leading me to wonder if that sound had something to do with it. Much like the demo, new doors are open, we have different music, and small details are rearranged. Immediately, Paul heads to collect every bit he can before heading to the treadmill room. And while here, he discovers that he can actually break it by setting the value to -1. This causes the game to crash, and once it reboots, Paul heads back to the shed and realizes that distorted Care is now Care in LM. And so, he catches her.
He caught the Care.
And then reads her description. Care in LM escaped from the school's basement and wandered the Newmaker plane for days.
He's kind of a cheater.
To catch her,
T-Fits.
you had to lie, but it may not be a lie forever. You're the Newmaker. You can turn Care in LM into Care A and close the loop. After this, Paul heads back to the child library to place Care NLM into the shaft. The game responds, "You've decided to leave Care NLM. If you change your mind within 6 months, you can take Care NLM back."
Oh, with the Game Shark.
What month is it anyway? What year is it? In following this, he recreates Care's room, heads inside, catches her again, and brings Petscop 9 to its end. So, Care in LM, someone who, at one point, was locked inside of a school basement, escaped, and wandered aimlessly for days. Given the end of her description, it implies that this may be the incorrect Care to catch. This is the bad ending, in a way. However, we apparently are the new maker, the one in charge, the one that can make change, and so we're tasked with closing this loop she's trapped in by finding either Care A or B and unraveling the full context of her story. With the knowledge that Marvin's looking for a school, combined with the fact that Care at some point escaped from its basement.
So that makes sense that it would end with you finding Care
he had something
NLM.
to do with this.
So that's like one ending. That makes a little more sense. Because, yeah, we didn't get much interaction with the villain Marvin Sheik. Man, Nilbog was calling you out earlier, Graham. I don't know if you saw it or not.
Petscop 10 begins with Paul poking around the altered version of Even Care, which from here on we'll just call On Care. He messes with the switches in Amber's room and manages to find a way to open both cages. A short while later, the game crashes, informing Paul that his save file now faces possible corruption. Nevertheless, he's still able to select it, placing us back into that small corridor.
Movie theaters
from
with
earlier.
extra buttered popcorn.
After interacting with that,
I can
Xbox,
butter it.
you re-engage with Care and
La la
return to
la la.
Amber's room.
Ah, butter.
There you go.
Hey, he's talking again. But yeah, I noticed
Now,
Paul, like,
while
it's
this
way more
discovery
quiet.
might seem innocuous, this actually serves as a sizable revelation about Petscop as a game. For those with a keen eye, you may have noticed that within the pause menu, it's a save function, and because the game crashed earlier, Paul wasn't able to. Regardless, the cages remained open, meaning that in some capacity, Petscop tracks your progress, even if you don't. This leaves us to wonder if the Petscop that Paul was presented with in the very first video was the base game as it was created, or a modified version based upon the actions of players that came before him. This could explain why when Paul mentioned how he created a new save, nothing was as it was when he first experienced it. In a way, Petscop is always changing.
Graham done messed up.
It's
Yeah.
almost like this ever-evolving organism.
It's like it's sentient. Or haunted.
Paul heads back to the quitter's room and finds that, finally, he's on the true side. After checking out the note on the wall, it reminds him of Tool, and so he returns to ask more questions. What month is it? And what year is it? He asks, both of which produce the same response, being a calendar. At the very end, though, Paul asks one last question. Where was the windmill? And prompts yet another sensor.
Ah, fuck.
Given the increase in their frequency, it's clear that Paul is onto something he shouldn't be. he's likely solving what those before him haven't, causing the channel owners to overcompensate by censoring things from the public eye. Petscop 10 was brief, yet stands as more of a bridge between Petscop's origins and where it's headed to next. After watching this series from start to finish, it's safe to say that we really haven't seen anything yet. The underlying story has hardly taken root. So, don't touch that dial. You and I have got a long way to go.
What do you mean don't touch that dial? Don't tell me it's a two-parter. Oh god, more fucking ads. An intermission? Wow, this is lovely. What the hell is this? I was waiting for Laura Palmer's body to wash up on shore. I see Petscop in the background.
Alright, so we are a little over a third of the way there, with a ton of story progression still to come. Petscop is something that I have wanted to cover for years, but I've always held off due to how complex everything comes across as.
A third of the way.
Explore this series in a way that is
it's like almost a 3-hour video.
There are so many moving parts happening off camera that it can get convoluted extremely
It's very convoluted, Nexpo.
While we still have a long way to go,
we still don't know what the fuck's going on.
I'd like to take a moment and circle back on Arc 1 to recap on what we've been through so far.
Yes, explain it to me like I'm 5, please.
More than anything, Petscop is the story of Paul. In May of 2017, Paul finds a video game within his home, and sometime between its discovery and his first gameplay, he has a conversation with a close friend about it, to which they doubt its existence. In response, Paul begins recording his own gameplay to prove to them that it's real, and what he finds is a cheery, Pokemon-like collectathon in which he's tasked with capturing pets and bringing them home. After a short bit of gameplay, Paul pulls out a note that came with Petscop and enters the code found on it, fundamentally changing everything about how this game operates. What was once the bright and upbeat gift plane is now shrouded in darkness and silence. And so, Paul sets off to figure out what the hell he's done. Almost immediately, Paul is introduced to the major cornerstones of this series, being care, the windmill, the school, and Marvin's house, all of which seem to be intertwined within one story about a little girl and windmill disappearing, being reborn, and somehow being held inside the school's basement. Scattered throughout Petscop are numerous characters. The Quitter, the Tool, the Windmill Girl, Michael, Marvin, Raynor, and various versions of Care. Petscop utilizes these characters to exhibit random bouts of sentience, filling Paul with awareness that the game is trying the hardest it can to appear haunted. Nevertheless, this skepticism begins to morph into apprehension the longer he plays it, as the more he uncovers about the underlying story, the more he seems to recognize various objects that can't and shouldn't be in this game. Unfortunately, these objects are censored at the current time by the hand of a mysterious group that seems to have taken over the Petscop channel. Currently, their motives in the state of Paul are unclear, but somehow they bear knowledge of future events that haven't even happened yet. Petscop 2 carries a similar mechanic, as during Paul's gameplay, we can see it predict his movements, hinting at the possibility of a recording device baked within this game. Even further, Petscop tracks Paul's progress, regardless if he saves or not, and seems to change on a fundamental level whenever the sound of a choir is heard. There seems to be multiple versions of Petscop on the same disc, all of which are tracked and saved, for every unsuspecting player to come. Across the grander scope of Petscop exist clear themes alluding to the atrocities of child abuse. Both the references to Daisy Head Maisie and Candace Newmaker make explicitly clear that Petscop is a story about psychological torment and potential death. The dynamic between Marvin, his wife, Kier, and the vanished windmill girl are still vague. However, we have a rough idea that Marvin's done something unforgivable. His wife's sister completely disappeared and was somehow reborn, likely as Kier. How the hell that's possible and what exactly it means is unclear at this point. But what we do know is that there's an ominous family dynamic at play here. Paul has become genuinely haunted by things he's witnessed, and it's almost starting to seem like he's connecting with the game in a way. With the theme of duality baked within the fabric of Petscop, with the gift and new maker plane, even an odd care, the quitter's room and its reflection,
yeah, Marvin was an asshole,
and the windmill's existence and lack thereof, it genuinely wouldn't surprise me if Petscop was a parallel somehow to Paul's real life. Now, while that remains to be seen, the ambiguous nature of Petscop leaves tons of additional questions unanswered. For starters, how does a windmill just vanish? What exactly does rebirthing mean within Petscop? What is causing the game to randomly take a mind of its own? Who's running the Petscop YouTube channel? Who exactly is Rainer? And most importantly, what the hell happened to Kier? It's clear that Marvin's had a hand in something nefarious with her, but at this point, what that is vague at best. Petscop is a behemoth with so much left up to the imagination.
I bet it was Benjamin Linus.
The story being crafted here is elaborate and grim, drawing me in the same way the game did with Paul. With that said, there's still a ton awaiting us. 14 and a half more episodes to be exact. So refill that mineral water and grab a couple string cheeses, because you and I, we're only getting started.
Yeah, just like Ben had to move the island, he moved the windmill. See. So that kind of makes sense so far. Beethoven is definitely dead. What? Welcome in, Beethoven is deaf. Wait, is it definitely dead or deaf and dead? He does make it intense. Oh, it's Matic. It's gotta be Matic.
Everything we wish to say is below. The purpose of this YouTube channel is to preserve and display the recordings within the video game Petscop while keeping some of their content private. They were first given to us as a Christmas gift.
Sounds like an ICP intro.
The game had an interesting journey before and after that day. Paul created some additional recordings in 2017 as a way to show Petscop gameplay to his friend. He created this account in order to upload those additional recordings in video format. He later passed ownership of the channel to us, but continued to record himself at our strong suggestion. Though he had issues with the arrangement, these have finally been settled. Please enjoy the recordings in Petscop. We do.
Now, if you thought my voice was ASMR, wait till you hear Nexpo's voice.
Signs along the way.
That's not Nexpo, by the way.
That I ignored. Because it would have been a completely ridiculous idea to me. But when I found my room, it made... well, I was shocked at first, but it made sense.
This ain't what I'm talking
considering
about.
where I found the game in the first place. They would be tied in some way to me through you. And I'm trying to think, when was the last time I saw any of you at all?
No, not this guy.
It had to have been like 1999. I was
You'll
a
see.
kid. I was a small kid. Tiny kid.
Straight out of the gate,
This guy.
Petscop 11 opens with dialogue between Paul and his friend, providing important context about prior events. As it turns out, the room generated from Care's face with Mike's eyebrows may not have been Care's room after all. It was his, which explains why he was so unnerved when he encountered the first sensor, yet opens an entirely new trove of questions as to why he's referenced in Petscop to begin with. A few moments later, Paul explains that he's following a map he made in hopes of finding some sort of secret. And to his surprise,
his older brother who's in a mental institution for being obsessed with Marvin. Could be.
He manipulates this tire like a padlock, and in return, it prompts him for a question.
Okay. So this one we wanna... what we wanna ask about the house. We wanna ask where is house?
After inquiring about the house, the tire begins to rapidly spin, implying that it may be in the direction it's pointing. And so, Paul sets off, finds a road, traverses down it, and discovers a sign. This is a frozen house, captured 3 times, exactly as it was.
When you get to come home soon, oh
Behind
yeah.
it, a home. Marvin's home.
We just found the fucking house.
Oh shit. Hey, he could open it. He doesn't have arms and he could open the house.
Alright. Okay. It's interesting. Got people appearing and disappearing.
Welcome to Christmas
house
at Marvin's
captured 3
house.
times it was.
Frozen
3
as
times
it was.
Marvin's house. Yeah.
Filling the air are the sounds of dishes clinking and people talking.
Maybe
And
you have to have a
visually,
Matic
you can observe
episode to
numerous
understand what's
individuals
going
in
on.
various states around the room. Immediately, Paul collects all the bits before he's greeted by 2 dialogue boxes from Marvin's wife, reading. Where have you been? Why were you gone for such a long time? Is this a present?
Yeah, Christmas.
Who is it
Nitro.
for? Soon after this, Paul discovers 2 calendars on the wall, one being green for the year 1997, and the other gray for the year 2000. He checks out the former and realizes that various dates are highlighted in that color, which confuses that.
Punk, I love you, dude. That actually scared the fuck out of me. Oh my god. Well, Celery, you missed a couple chances to laugh at child abuse and child murder. So far, no, Mr. Twister. I haven't learned anything. Nexpo's kind of, being very dramatic about his reveals.
Upon discussing it with his friend, though, he realizes something.
I got this green here. Starts off like a checkerboard, then whatever this is, and then weekends. Then it's
Yeah, I feel like
green every
allergies are
day.
taking like a last stand before fall, because my allergies have been fucking terrible.
Okay. I don't know if you got that immediately. Yeah, so June to November. Yeah, on that topic, I don't remember meeting this girl at all. I don't remember knowing her. at any point.
Seasonal work schedule, yeah.
And I remember you saying that we are.
Sailor
Exactly the
Visa
same
disable
age.
though?
Right.
Yeah, we have all had nights like that.
I just don't remember even hearing about anyone going missing. Right? I don't have a single... I remember her going missing. Remember anything like that. I mean, I was a kid. But even then... Could have been one of those periods when we weren't visiting very much, but it seems weird. Right? Because... I don't know if you can verify these dates, but... 5th of June... 10th of November... Right, when she went missing and when she was found.
These were the dates when Care was gone, and given that they're highlighted in the color pertaining to Marvin, it seems to symbolize the dates
Doll
she was with
collection.
him. Speaking of
Those
Care,
are action
right
figures.
after this, Paul makes a compelling observation.
I do agree there's a resemblance.
Mostly if it's in a crab. Like a literal crab, or like, you know, like a cancer crab.
Very strong resemblance between us. Oh.
How do I block myself?
Now, with everything dropped on us so far, the correlations between he and Care's existence are too frequent to discount as pure coincidence. Paul has absolutely no recollection of Care ever going missing. The two share the same birthday, and now we learn that they look alike. It's almost like they were twins, yet with the lack of any memory of her, it creates this massive paradox. How in the world does he not know of her existence if the
That
two
is
share
true.
so
No blog
many
speaks the truth.
monumental characteristics? Moving on, Paul makes his way to the bathroom, prompting this cinematic and jingle.
The more you know.
Strangely, Paul claims that it was...
That was an experience.
Which is an odd choice of words, but to each their own. Above the bathtub is a block with a symbol. Something we've seen before. And so, Paul heads towards it, causes the game to cut to black, and back to the main menu.
Oh, that creepy ass painting.
What follows from this point is a demo sequence involving the road from the New Maker plane. In the next scene, we'll notice that Paul is completely silent. For some reason, he doesn't say
See,
a
I
single
think you're
word,
proving my
something
theory.
highly out of character,
Maybe
considering
to
the
understand
chattiness
this, you
he's
have to be
displayed
having
so
a
far.
manic episode. But I'm glad you find it interesting.
Initially, this clock seems ordinary. However,
This is
if
like
we
some
really
David Lynch
analyze
shit
it,
right here.
we realize that 12 o'clock isn't where it should be. It isn't 3 p.m. It's 5:11. A few moments later, the video cuts to black and to a new clock, implying the passage of time. Here, though, things have shifted. Yet, like earlier, our perspective is once again off. It is now 6:14 p.m. At the end of the room,
Rock
is a
around the
building.
clock tonight.
The camera heads straight into it,
We
drops us
gotta
back
rock
onto the
around
micro
the
plane
clock
with Marvin,
tonight.
and curiously introduces the concept of in-game communication.
There's the Iron Sheik again. He spelled Paul like Paul Mall.
For a brief moment, Paul and Marvin have a back and forth before he takes off northward. And as we follow him, we end up discovering an entirely new area, being the school.
This school creeps me out.
Upon heading inside, we realize that every convention of how Petscop works has been turned on its head. Instead of a camera-locked adventure game, we can now navigate the world in 3 dimensions, effectively adding a new layer of depth and interactivity to it. Apart from its merits though, it's clear that this section needs a lot of work, and for all we know, the developer probably didn't spend much time on refinements. Regardless, a handful of intriguing concepts are introduced, like the fact that Marvin seems to have taken the shape of a tool, seems to have some capacity of control, and that various objects, like padlocks, can be manipulated. After the pair tried their hand at cracking it, the game cuts to black once more and throws us back into Marvin's home. The jingle again
The Windows
plays,
95
the
screensaver,
cinematic goes
yeah.
in reverse, and weirded out, Paul claims,
The hell?
Adventure on ColecoVision as a
That
kid.
was an
It kind of scared you.
wait a goddamn minute, there it is again.
Oh.
Alright, so somehow when Paul walked up into that block, he created some sort of lapse in time. And this goes further than just a simple case of synchronicity. To understand what I'm talking about though, we need context from the rest of this episode, so we'll circle back to this in a minute.
That might be why I find that school section unsettling. No
Bizarrely,
bog.
Paul acknowledges the
Probably
lack
some
of a
like
white
childhood
block above the
memory.
bathtub.
Being
He
like
has clear
scared
knowledge
by
of what took place
something
before
that's
and
similar,
after
like
the
fucking
clock
graphics
sequence,
and shit.
but during it is what remains ambiguous.
Yeah, I remember
Nevertheless,
Adventure on
Paul exits the
ColecoVision.
bathroom and
Yeah, they were
realizes
all
that the
crudely
home
made out
has
of
now
squares.
changed. It's no longer Christmas, and on the wall sits only the Greek calendar. After messing around for a bit, Paul examines a note on the home's bulletin board, reading, "My husband may come here after 6 p.m. Please stay overnight if you can. Thank you so much." He then heads to the calendar and learns that the date is now June 5th, the night Care went missing. And with this newfound context, it really drives home just how ominous that note is. Someone was supposed to be watching her, protecting her, yet it's like they were never there. After heading into a newly opened room, we encounter Care A. She's sitting atop a yellow bed and is frozen in a block of ice. On the back wall, we can observe a window and a clock, revealing that the time is now 6:10. But wait a minute, earlier the game told us it was 6:14, so how the hell did we travel back in time here?
Great Scott!
Can I get on this bed? I'm supposed to get up on the bed.
Frozen in ice, yeah, that would be fucking terrible.
Paul messes around this room before taking interest in the window. He heads outside to examine it.
But also,
and
I wouldn't want to be
realizes
trapped
that
in a
there's no
room
way up
where
there.
like the temperature is like permanently
Upon
set to
heading
like
back in,
99
though,
degrees or
he
some shit
suddenly
like that.
becomes locked in a closet before encountering a certain friend.
It's a fun thing.
Oh, you got triggered? Sorry,
Fun thing that just
Medic.
happened. I didn't do that. I can't close doors. I can't open doors either, so I also can't,
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, you didn't see the
Yeah.
warning at the beginning that there's some triggering
That's fun.
subject matter.
I don't know, I mean, I know it. I know what it wants me to do now. Yeah.
Oh shit, Iron Sheik broke through the window. He fucking ruined the window AC unit.
Uh-oh.
Kara left the room. You were swindled by the Sheik.
And so we finally learned the true meaning of Kara left the room. It was when she was taken. Now, I'm not entirely sure if the game reverted to a previous state, or if the abduction was recorded.
All because the
prior
windmill
events.
disappeared, probably.
But right after this text box, the closet door opens, the room's ambience reverts to as it was, and Kara is reinstated at her initial position.
Frozen in ice.
With what we just witnessed, Paul heads outside to inspect the window, and to his surprise, he finds a ladder. And so, much like Marvin, he heads up and inside
well,
the
it's
house.
just Care,
and
but
is
not
finally
Karen. But
able to
yeah, I get what
catch
you're saying.
Care A.
It's Care A. Yeah, just Care. C-A-R-E. Hey, he just captured Care A.
I can look at the...
Oh god, that fucking AC sound. You couldn't have left the room first?
When the emergency began, you were all looking for Care A. I told you all we would never find Care A. When Care A goes missing, she goes missing forever. My brother didn't want us to find him because he knew we were all looking for Michael A. I'm back. This is my present for you. I started it in 1996 for Marvin. If you think they're worth any effort, see if you can save Care B or Care NLM. Care B is in the school, of course. Fuck you all, and fuck me as well.
Oh shit.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, now that's how I like to say Merry Christmas to people.
Rainer. Alright, once again, Rainer's at it with the non sequiturs. Apart from the reference to Michael, here we can observe them making clear references to the abduction of Care. It seems that, somehow, they bear significant knowledge about her present location and how she's been permanently scarred by what Marvin's done to her. Atop this, we learn that this game was made for him, yet considering his overall role in everything we've seen,
Merry Christmas, check your bathroom. It's going on all my Christmas cards.
Ambiguity.
I left a little present for you in your bathroom. Merry fucking Christmas.
And for all we know, it could be about Care, or
and
even
fuck
something
you,
to do
fuck
with that
me.
nod to Michael.
I
There
don't
was
know.
a reason he was randomly thrown into Care's description. So how does he tie into this? What is clear is that Rainer seems to have known about Marvin's obsessions, about family conversations,
And a happy poo
about
here,
where
yes.
Care was kept, how and when she was taken, everything. They were complicit in some capacity. It's just the extent that's cryptic.
Fuck you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Moving on, Paul heeds Rainer's request and heads to the bathroom. While here, the game cuts to black once more before we're thrown back in the school, observing yet another demo. After poking around, the player character encounters a room with a chalkboard, a desk, and Marvin. Marvin instructs the player to play some music on something called the
This is where
News
Marvin
piano,
wants him to play his skin
and
flute.
so they do, making Marvin a happy man. As the player continues their song, they begin to mess up, in turn pissing Marvin off.
I thought it said balls at first.
In response, he states that Tiara plays bad music too, to which the player responds with the word sad. And with that incredibly insane climax, Petscop 11 draws to an end.
Balls, Mahoney. Balls. Yeah, he said climax.
Let's talk about that bathroom.
Let's do it.
As we can recall, there was a weird
there's a weird
synchronicity
stench.
with both times Paul was in there. Somehow, he stated the exact same phrase twice when the home was frozen
that was an
in two
experience.
separate states.
Who hasn't had an experience in the bathroom?
Interestingly, the later and earlier portions of the video don't just line up in that one instance, though, as when both clocks approach 6:15, the collision with the building roughly coincides with the time Marvin would encounter Care. Have a look.
Look, they're lined up. So is that Marvin?
What?
Fucking Marvin.
Time within this home appears to be broken. If we assume that all of Petscop 11's gameplay is solely done by Paul. As we can recall, he isn't actually in control of the way these videos are structured and presented, as that role lies with those who Paul passed the channel to. They're editing things, purposefully creating confusion, and could have very easily manipulated Paul's voiceover to give the impression of time divergence. To me, the road sequence seems to be old, recorded gameplay from Marvin. Like I touched on prior, Petscop harbors a mechanic that allows these recordings to play back in real time, regardless if there's a current player in the game or not. With that said, it's clear that the channel holders are crafting a narrative and painting a very specific
ColecoVision
picture of how
Adventure.
Petscop is played. And with the strange confusing phrasing from the video's description and their knowledge of the impact of certain censored objects, it's almost like they personally know everyone involved in this story.
Nexpo, you're really edging me this video. I'm like on the edge of my seat.
Their family.
I like it. They're a family. A family. I love ColecoVision. I used to play Rocky on ColecoVision. Yeah.
Petscop 12 begins with a demo recording in the mirrored side of the Quitter's room. The player pokes around a bit before heading towards the mirror, encountering a completely
Pyramid
new
head.
character. Someone with some sort of pyramid head, who also replicates their actions. Given the theme of duality presented all throughout Petscop, we can recall that we've been on the correct side of the Quitter's room before. And if we line up our prior footage with this one, we find that they are an exact match. The pyramid head is Paul, which leaves us to wonder who's playing the game here. The player leaves the room before somehow Paul's character collides with them and disappears. They collect bits and look around before yet another mechanic is introduced. This time being direct messages to
I
the player.
remember a tank game for NES where you blow up buildings and like the enemies will run out and like shake their fist at you, but I forget what it's called.
Hi, Belle. You're free. I left these messages for you to look at in case you were ever rescued. So while you walk around looking for something to do, I'll come up periodically. When the messages run out,
I don't think it was
I'll
Akari
come up
Warriors.
here
You're in like a
forever
tank
and
the
ever.
whole time.
Right after closing the dialogue box, the video cuts to the yard. Belle examines Mike's gravestone before she's greeted with another. You've
Hong
apparently
Kong
been on
97, that's
Petscop
it, Mr.
nonstop for 553,758,221 seconds, or 153,822 hours.
Oh shit. I
That
don't
looks
know
tedious to me.
since it's midnight here on the
What do you
East
think?
Coast, but
This
Bandcamp
amount of
Friday
time
might still be
equates
going
to
on.
over 17 years.
So
That is
give
an
the homies some
impossibly
support
vast amount of
in
time
case
to
it's
be
running
playing a
on
video
like,
game, and
I don't
even
know,
more so
like
for
West Coast time or
Petscop,
some
of
shit.
all things.
Still got some time to get that
Moving on,
Cool,
we're given
hard
even
cash.
more cryptic
Over to
messages.
Mr. Twister. Pacific time, yeah, so you still got like
Are
plenty
you
of
still
time.
sitting on a chair? Can you still look around the room? Is there still a room? This is the child library. You're not family, so I didn't add your traits to the face system. That means I didn't add your eyes, or your eyebrows, or your nose. After this, Belle heads out to the new maker
Oh,
plane.
Twister
where
made a
she
new song tonight
encounters
thanks to
Marvin.
210. Oh, shit.
The game instructs her to not get lost before capping things off with one final message. Happy birthday, Belle. I'm calling you Belle because that's who you are.
Oh, it's a freebie.
You might be confused as to what happened. I was overeager before and started calling you Tiara prematurely. I created a space in the menu for you, still unused now. Then I put you inside the machine and played the second movement of Stravinsky's Septet.
Holy fuck! That was fucking loud. God damn it, Bunga. Every time I think you're gone. Thanks for the 500 bits though, but holy shit, I think I just went deaf, and that I may have shit myself a little bit. No, don't be sorry. That definitely jolted me. Probably because that fucking sound effect they added into the Blu-ray version of Star Wars when Obi-Wan scares off the fucking sand people is ridiculous. Oh, thank you for that. Let me just take a second to get my heart rate down. Okay. All right. You son of a gun. Talk Star Wars soon? I'm always down to talk Star Wars, homie. Oh.
If you hadn't given up halfway, you would still be Tiara. This is not what
Woo!
happened. And now I'm gone.
Oh, so that's why you're the quitter. I get it. So explain that, Nexpo.
Belle is a victim of attempted rebirthing. And because it failed, the person writing these comments, who I'm assuming to be Rainer, is now dead. This episode was pivotal in setting the foundation for other characters outside of Paul, because it finally establishes why Belle was always seen inside the quitter's room. She fought back. She resisted her abuse. She was, in their eyes, a quitter. On top of this, we learn that she isn't even family. For all we know, she could be a victim of kidnapping or even unethical adoption.
See ya, Bunga. Till the next time you scare the
or
fuck
Rainer.
out of me with my own sound alerts.
No matter the specifics,
Much
though,
love, homie.
the result was all the same. Her childhood was stolen. She was psychologically abused, and at some point, forced to play Petscop for 17 entire years.
Holy shit.
So,
No wonder you
how's that
quit.
possible?
Yeah, Matic, I should warn you, this game has a lot of themes of child abuse, so if that's something that's triggering to you, just keep that in mind.
If we assume that Belle is a live player,
send it to my,
this implies that
Discord,
Petscop carries
homie.
some semblance of multiplayer. And given that the game was developed in the year
Played Oblivion for
1997, when the
16
PS1 was incapable of online gameplay,
And Skyrim's been
it implies
re-released
that
for
Petscop
16
is
years.
some sort of technological marvel. Rainer engineered a system that could break the fabric of the PS1's capabilities, opening an entirely new world of potential. Right? Well, no. I know how cryptic Petscop has been so far, and while we can suspend our disbelief and run with that theory, I don't think it's quite right.
Oh shit, that's what I was thinking, kind of.
As we can recall, Rainer presented Belle with a set of questions. Are you still sitting in a chair? Can you look around the room? And is there still a room? this is not live gameplay, but the product of player emulation. This entire time, we've assumed that demo gameplay are just recordings, which in a way they are. They're just not quite the kind we assumed.
Whoop whoop.
It seems to me that there's some sort of artificial intelligence being trained here. The bell we're observing isn't the product of a player, but that of a computer, explaining how the synchronicity between Paul and Belle's movements were possible. We're gonna dive into this point in much greater detail later, but for now, just know that the other players within Petscop aren't quite human.
I figured that much.
At least,
I truly hope
now.
Fizzy loves Starfield. If anyone can pull her away from Bethesda, it's going to have to be Bethesda. I want to try out Starfield. I don't know if my computer can run it or not, though. Have to check and see.
Be sure and tell him Large Marge
Hey,
sent ya.
hey, whoa. Keegan the Creep coming in with the raid. What is up, my friend? How was your, you were chilling on the back deck, if I recall. Putting an end to the summer because we got fall rolling in. You sucking and fucking? What up, Zarzi? Casey Ninja up in the high. Shooting your goo on me. I love to see it. Baba Booey. Hot King summer coming to an end. Yeah, it's true. But, you know.
Davey Scorsese.
We are close to
Dick.
a sister
Davey
party.
Scorsese.
We are close.
Has
to
a big fucking
sister
dick.
party.
Davey Scorsese. He's got a big fucking dick. Fucking Scorsese.
How do you know, Mr. Twister? Purely speculation. Yes, for those who are coming in from the raid, I am current JDW champion Davey Scorsese. We're going on... Is that who that is coughing in the background of that, Fizzy? I always wondered who that was. We're going over, yet again, the mysterious PS1 game called Petscop. Only this time Nexpo is doing his deep dive, and he's way better at figuring out shit and putting shit together than I'll ever be. So, that's why I'm going back to this well once again. But I love to see everybody come in on the raid. How you doing? Give me a follow if you haven't yet. The boyhood dream has come true, T-Fits. Sad boy summer is ending. Time for full of loads fall. You got that right. You got that right. Husband Scuba Steve. Yeah, that whole fucking sound clip is great because we got Fizzy saying we're close to a sticker party. I don't even have stickers on my stream. You got coughing in the background, and you got Pork saying, "How do you know?" at the very end. So I had to, kind of borrow that from Mr. Twister's stream to make my own sound clip. Oh, hookah. It's the hookah, huh? But anyway, yeah, I'm going to pick up where I left off. Shout out to Keegan the Creep. Thanks for the raid, my friend. I don't know if you chose me or did like a vote, but either way, I appreciate it. And we're going to dive back and pick up where we left off because this is a long boy. Alright. I was the chosen one.
Barring the fact that it's a demo,
Hi, Samantha Delic.
Petscop 13 throws Paul back into the picture. He manipulates the bucket in hopes of finding its purpose before he makes a connection regarding a tool he saw on the road. He pushes the bucket towards it, eventually passing under an object that looks strikingly like the sign for the gift plane. Once here, though, it heads up and out of reach before he navigates it into the pail.
It's a long boy. That's not what she said.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, his voice is very ASMR. Not Paul, but Nexpo. Which, if you like that voice, Matic, Allegedly.
Paul then uses the tool on the machine inside the house.
You should
and
subscribe
gains
to him
15
on
bits.
YouTube.
Now, with this new discovery in mind, combined with the shrouded gift plane sign, it gives Paul an idea.
Okay, this is a new file. It might have occurred to you, as it occurred to me, that these rooms are... this room and the house are counterparts, because they both have this bucket. And
Tag team your ear holes.
so
Oh,
I
shit.
thought I would try out what we did before.
He starts a new file and begins catching the pets as he did before. But this time, he takes the bucket to Ronit's room to try his hand at catching them
that's
once
smart.
again.
But I should not have felt doubt. Just...
Ronith is Tonith's baby half-brother. Because he's younger, he gets to learn from all of Tonith's mistakes. That's why he always looks both ways. He doesn't get in trouble. You won't
Swings
have
both
to watch him all the
ways.
time. He's good. It seems that what happened to Tonith really ground away at Raynor's psyche. This is the third reference to Rhodes looking both ways and being hit by a car, which really leaves me wondering what it is they're getting at here. This clearly impacted them greatly, so who is this referencing? Following this, Paul heads out to catch the remaining pets. The game cuts to Amber's room, and we can see him utilize the wall glitch method once more.
Filling out a dating profile.
Congratulations. You caught
Sometimes
every
I'd rather
pet
get
you
hit
can
by a
carry,
car than fill out a
aside
dating
from Tom,
profile.
who isn't here yet.
No block always
I've
looks
seen
both
everything in
ways.
the game so far, but there will obviously be more. It's a growing organism. The controller inputs will be useful, but your feedback will be even more useful. Please leave the PlayStation on when you leave. You can stand up now.
And he does. You hear him leave. This freaked me out when I first saw it. Like, what is the fucking PlayStation control is mine now? I didn't say that.
This windmill vanished off the face of the earth. Here's a similar puzzle. There are two pictures of a door. In the first picture, the door is closed. In the second picture, taken later, the door is open. Nobody opened the door. The door did not open itself.
Here, I'll put the command in again, Matic.
Did not open at all.
This will take you to his channel, and it's the first video on his channel. Or the newest video on his channel, I should say.
Take note of the player's movements. They're nonsensical, like this demo is recreating them, made from other areas of the game. Thinking back, we've seen this idea before, and keeping in mind the riddle we just read, it unlocks an entirely new method of thought regarding how Petscop can be played. After about a minute of moving around the beds, the game cuts to black, signaling another time jump. And immediately after, Paul's gameplay begins, where he discusses these ideas in further detail.
suddenly inspired by an idea that is, in a way, similar to the idea that brought me to this house. Because that idea involved pretending.
Yeah, Matic, this is the only copy of the game in
something
existence.
was there that wasn't there. And this idea involves pretending that this door, right here, this one, is open rather than closed. You can see that it's closed. But what I'm going to do, and what I invite you to do as well, is I'm going to picture in my head that this door is actually open right now. And if I were to pass through this doorway, what would happen? Would I bump into a door? No, because the door is open, right? I would just keep going into the room that's there. And I happen to know I'm going to walk into the room right now. I'm in the room. I happen to know what this room looks like because I saw it in a demo recording just today. And you can see it too. I assume it will be up on the family YouTube along with this video that I'm recording right now. You can see what the room looks like in that recording. On the right side, there's a windmill. I don't have it in front of me right now. I should. On the right side, there's a windmill.
You're
on
full
the
of
left
shit,
side,
Paul.
there's something that Marvin does not bother to look at, but we will be looking at. So the question is, what do I do next? If I were in this room right now, would I...
Paul exhibits clear knowledge of the various game states. As we know, the version he's playing differs from what's shown in the demo, and after watching what he referred to as Marvin's gameplay, he believes he can emulate it by counting his steps and assuming that unpassable obstacles aren't there. Given that the resulting demo recording has been overlaid onto Paul's raw footage, it solidifies his intuition as we can observe what would happen if he were in that world. Now, with that said, I do find it interesting that Paul referenced this channel as the family YouTube, as it all but cements the fact that they're aware of identities tied to the characters of the game. Where Paul fits in the family tree is presently ambiguous, and so too are the reasons for why he's forced to play it in the first place. What exactly are they looking to gain here? Moving on, Paul continues manipulating the game and makes his way to the dresser on the left side of the room. Upon analyzing it, we see a grid of 15 CDs in various states of rotation.
Alright, Columbia House.
Unaware of what he's interacting with, though, Paul assumes it's a dialogue box with a ton of text and begins spamming buttons to get through it.
Paul's the family badass.
Care too much about, so we're gonna press X a bunch of times to get through all the text. But we can look at it later.
Those sound effects are unsettling to me too.
Like a book in there, a lot of stuff I don't care about. A lot of it. Or it's not a text box, and it could be literally anything else in the world that happens when you press X. Hey, Cat, what are you doing? Stupid. No. Yeah.
What the hell? Oh, he was humming that song. I never picked up on that either. Nexpo, you brilliant son of a bitch. I don't know what that means, but hey.
Alright, I don't know if this is cheating, but upon enabling the Petscop subtitles, we learn that the tune Paul is humming is called Care's Melody.
Care's Melody.
Now, I'm not entirely sure how the Needles piano works, whether every note plays with a single button press, or if you orchestrate them specifically. If it's the latter, though, why is it called Care's Melody? And how in the hell did Paul know how to play it? Ugh, honestly, I could be way overthinking this. Hell, I've been watching
This game
Petscop
too fucking much.
So, back to the CD sounds. Paul begins spamming.
Everyone else really is stupid compared to Nexpo.
Interestingly, though,
That's a fact.
once he makes it to the one in the very middle, CD8, the sound is different.
That's even more unsettling.
This is the only one facing the opposite direction. It's mirrored backwards. And if we think back to Paul's confusion with direction,
Right, left, right, side.
we can establish a tenuous connection here. What the significance is remains to be seen, but let's keep this in mind moving forward.
JSN.
After a few more minutes of fumbling with these discs, Paul notices that the bedroom is half black and half green. He heads out and moves the bucket into the bedroom and near the second sensor, and somehow figures out a way to paint the wall black. Once done,
you understand
the sensor
Einstein, Noble?
disappears, and he receives a black key.
Okay, hopefully we got it.
He takes this key out and over to a previously locked door near the front of the house, and after unlocking it, we hear yet another choir sound before the game again resets to the main menu.
Oh. I see you're insulting Nexpo. I gotcha. See, I understood that. Your only ability is making keys levitate. Yeah. I want to see an AVGN review on this game. Well, you know, AVGN when he was in his prime. Maybe not so much anymore. And Paul's dead. Just kidding.
Here I am.
Duh.
Oddly, Paul's save file is gone, replaced by one called Strange Situation. Let's talk about that.
A strange situation.
In real life, the term strange situation carries a connection to parent-child relationships. In the 1970s, a psychologist named Mary Ainsworth devised a procedure to observe and measure the amount of attachment exhibited by infants towards their mothers. To achieve this, families would voluntarily undergo testing, which involved 8 sessions lasting 3 minutes each. The strange situation procedure went as follows. A mother, a baby, and a stranger enter a room for less than a minute. Soon after, the stranger leaves for around 30 seconds. Upon returning, the mother leaves. Once she returns, the stranger again leaves. After another 30 seconds, the mother leaves the infant alone. The stranger then returns, followed by the mother, to which the stranger would leave again, bringing the procedure to an end. The goal of the strange situation was to monitor the child for how they'd react to the absence of their mother, and within the presence of a stranger, ultimately categorizing the kids in 3 distinct attachment styles: secure, resistant, and avoidant. Their diagnoses were utilized to find out how a child was brought up in their home life. For instance, an avoidant child is implied to have been unloved and rejected, and considering that kids are a reflection of their caregiver's behavior, I'm sure you can see how it went up the chain. Now, it goes without saying that the connections between this and the characters within Petscop are clear. The 3 emotional states Raynor references all throughout this game appear to be an allegory for the strange situation. Care A was secure, positive, and loved. Care B, unloved, rejected, and avoidant. and Care in LM. Resistant, confused, and angry. After selecting the file, Paul's back on the new maker plane. In front of Marvin's house are now signs for a birthday party. It's for Care, and they seem to have gone all out to advertise it.
Oh, happy birthday.
Upon heading inside, we're
I relate to
immediately
being
greeted with
confused and
dialogue
angry.
from Care's mother. You made it. Happy birthday.
I know, it's
Why are
hard.
you
It's
covering
hard to
your
fight
face?
those feelings, Snowbog, when you look at the champ and the suits.
Oh.
Probably do have some confused and angry feelings.
And after poking around the party, Paul realizes that he can interact with
Said
the
it's
various
lonely
objects.
at the top, baby. Woo!
Of course I recognize you. Those eyes, that nose, that's still you. Paul then examines the calendar and learns that it's November 12th. Care's birthday.
Just
and
don't
also
pull
the
a
day
page.
we know she returned home.
No promises.
After exiting the calendar, Paul receives more dialogue. I sure hope you've realized by now. It doesn't matter how long you've been gone. It doesn't matter how much you've changed. You aren't lost. Stop wandering and come home.
What?
Well, that was a bit out of left field, don't you think? If she's being cold like this, why is this birthday party even happening? What's the catch here? After this, Paul examines a new red calendar that he postulates is either for the year 1995 or 2017, and claims this.
Wednesday, huh?
Getting that bad feeling again.
Once again, the game seems to be speaking to Paul. It knows how to unnerve him. However, the question remains as to why the reference to 2017 would spark this. We know that the Petscop channel was launched that year, so is there a correlation? Paul continues into the bedroom, thumping into a wall that isn't there, and when inside, Care's mother claims,
I believe it was a Wednesday. A
Care,
bloody
are you
Wednesday
okay?
happened.
You ran straight into the door. Did you think it was open? Oh, poor baby.
Care. That's Gum Paul.
Paul realizes that the discs are missing.
Oh shit. I hate that sound.
Where's the disc? Where are the discovery pages? What are you talking about? What disc? Discovery pages? Jill, stop fucking ignoring me. Get in here and show me where that disc is. Jill. No, Care, this is Mommy. This is your mommy. Sweetie, I'm right here in front of you. There's no one else here. What are you looking at? What's over there? Care, can't you hear me? Can't you see me waving? Snap out of it. Care, where are you going? Shocked, Paul takes a moment to digest what he just read. The video cuts to black, then back to his gameplay.
I think that was based off of a conversation that I had last year on my birthday. If it wasn't just a coincidence, then that means I'm getting pranked. But I don't know how that magic trick works exactly.
As Paul exits the room, the game crashes before he claims that he needs to call Jill.
I have to call Jill right now.
And Jill's name was just said in that conversation.
I'm feeling very weird.
So... interesting.
So through Google, I asked the internet, how might one rewrite to a CDR? And the internet's response to that question was, "You idiot. You fucking idiot. What are you doing?"
Paul then heads into a new room, which we learn to be an empty garage. Within
where
it,
she's
though,
the website,
is an
right?
interesting revelation. Paul examines a computer known in-game as a Tarnikop and learns that the discovery pages referenced earlier are in the computer, in-game. From here, he explores the side of it and expresses his confusion. He has no idea what the hell is going on anymore, and it's clear that Petscop is slowly beginning to wear away at his mental state.
This is the website. For some reason, it's in the game on a computer screen.
The files are in the computer.
This is the Your Child page.
Like Zoolander.
Judging by all the text. Wish I could read it. Got no idea what's going on anymore. What even is this?
In one final blow, though, Paul heads out and into the bedroom once more, revealing another sensor, to which he responds with one word before the video ends.
Fuck.
Sums it up, doesn't it?
Above all else, the most pivotal revelation in this episode was the conversation between Paul and Jill. Somehow, Petscop appears to have been amended after Paul received the game and started playing. As we can recall, he claimed that the conversation was from his previous birthday, and given that Petscop 14 was uploaded in July of 2018 and the Petscop channel was launched in summer of 2017, the game was either tampered with, replaced, or somehow predicted events that hadn't even happened yet. On top of all of this, though, we find that Paul and Care have some level of intertwining storylines, as during that Jill conversation, Care's mother asks her by name what in the hell she's talking about. So what's this hinting at? Paul is clearly being toyed with. It's referencing personal conversations, it knows about his discovery pages, and is displaying this weird mishmash of two wildly different time periods.
This couldn't be made up.
It's messing with him. And he knows it.
Next you're gonna tell me Gemini Home Entertainment's made up too. I don't believe you.
Contrary to the last video, Petscop 15 is brief. The video opens with a demo recording of the school, in which we can see the player exploring a bit. Oddly though, every single time they collect a party hat, the game forces them in front of this photo, labeled girl.
Laura Palmer's a real girl that died. She's not an actress played by someone named Cheryl Lee.
Soon after this, they find a classroom with Marvin and a chalkboard. Marvin inquires
What's
if
my
they're
favorite
here for the
food?
present before the player sits down.
I don't know.
Soon
S?
after, the character representing Belle emerges from behind the chalkboard, to which Marvin gives an introduction. Weirdly though, she retorts, claiming that she's Tiara, which leaves us to wonder if Rainer's earlier hints about that failed rebirthing were perhaps incorrect. Belle then tells the player to press something called Nifty, and while initially confused on what that meant, they eventually figure it out, opening yet another new mechanic of this game, being a texture editor.
I don't know. Rump Roast is pretty good, Baba Booey.
From here, the player draws some scribbles and writes the word hi before the video ends.
Ass secretions like truffle butter. Yeah, I'll pass on that.
Alright, so with the concept of the texture editor in mind, we can assume that the responses from Pink Tool, way at the beginning, were actually the product of Belle. This was her method of communication before we ever knew it was possible. With this in mind though, tons of questions remain as to how in-game players are able to pull off actions like this if there's no aspect of online play available. Sure, we can take these other characters at face value like they're some sort of AI, but what if there's something else going on here? It's like we're stuck in this uncanny middle ground of ambiguity. They aren't human, but they aren't rudimentary PS1 AI either. After all, they can pull off live texture editing, of all things. So how is this possible?
Oh shit, what's going on? What are you doing, Nexpo? Oh god, not the alarms. I hate this part.
Petscop 16 is one of the shortest episodes in the entire series, yet conversely, is one of the most haunting. As we could see, the video opened with the shot.
Oh, don't tell me that, no
garage.
bug.
We could see the computer and an
I don't want
orange
to go to
car
work yet.
before the game cut to this burn-in warning. No controller input has been detected for a very long time. Family, neighbors, police, or whoever, keep game console running and call provided phone number. Following this, we're shown a top-down map depicting a room. On the right side appears to be
Hulk
some
Hogan
sort of
choked
piano.
a guy out too.
At the top left, a bed, and near the bottom, a TV with the picture of Marvin's living room next to it. This room is referred to as the ghost, or testing room, with the red dot tracking the location of the person that's supposed to be playing. For most of the video, that's all we see.
Richard Belzer.
They seem to be sleeping
right.
before finally waking up, stumbling back to the chair, and resuming their playthrough.
And wasn't it John Stossel who got the shit smacked out of him? Yeah. Please keep Petscop running. Yes, I'm glad he narrowed the fucking alarm sounds down. The ghost room is a ship in a bottle.
Petscop 17 opens with the player silently exploring the sound test menu. They make their way to sound file 85 and spam it for an entire fucking minute.
Oh god,
straight.
this fucking thing.
As it turns out, they were onto something because it unlocked a hidden menu. And so we're introduced to the back end of Petscop. Here we can watch in-game recordings, check out something called Room Impulse, and also dig through the cryptic extra stuff. Here, the player checks out the Room Impulse menu and navigates to the entry titled House. Interestingly, its photo is the exact one shown in the last episode, further establishing that it is, indeed, the interior of Marvin's home. Before they hit play, they pick something called a gen, which I'm assuming is short for generation.
Generation.
They scroll to number 10.
Or
and hit
genomatic. Oh, this is where I got completely lost as to what the fuck was going on.
Room Impulse appears to allow the manipulation of prior Petscop activity utilizing this enigmatic dial. At this point, what exactly we're looking at is vague, yet one thing stands clear. Each player's movements are incredibly odd. They're running in circles, running into walls, hiding behind the TV, and are exhibiting highly unnatural behavior considering the room they're currently in. To be honest, it seems like the dial is cycling through not recordings, but waves of player emulation. It's, in a sense, facilitating external analysis of their behavior, giving the analyst an ability to weed out the failures. This is further supported once we make it outside. As we can see, there's but a handful of them that leave the front door, also coinciding with the dial being back in its natural position. From here, they hone in on a player before more of Rayner's text boxes appear.
Are they like looking for Paul?
Hi there. Wake up, you're free. I want you to retrace your steps. The family, as usual, wants to learn what happened to you between November 10th and 12th of 1997. On November 10th of 1997, you ran away from your daddy's school building, and on the 12th, you arrived at your house. The question is, where were you on November 11th, and what were you doing there?
I can't fucking remember that far
I
back.
hope to guide you to a location with a spell, which I will begin now.
A spell?
You are a girl named Carrie Mark, and you were born on November 12th, 1992.
Is this like
You have
hypnosis?
a mommy named Anna, a daddy named Marvin, an auntie named Joe, an uncle named Thomas, and a cousin named Daniel. I know what you must be thinking. Have these statements always been true, or have I cursed you? Is there such a thing? A curse that changes your past?
This guy's a fruitcake.
You were kidnapped and spent 5 months in an abandoned elementary school. You ran away, crying ashamed, covering
He
your
did
face.
shoot up like a rocket.
You were blind. At some point, your movements stopped making sense, bumping into walls and doors, dodging invisible obstacles. When were you led astray on the road?
Explain, Nexpo. Explain. With your ominous music.
So,
that's
Carrie
terrifying.
Mark, huh? The girl referred to as Care, all the way up to
Carry
this point.
the mark.
On top of this, we've gained even more insight into her immediate family, learning that her mother's name is Anna. Unsurprisingly, Raynor keeps things vague. He mentions a bizarre curse about changing pasts, and how the family, who we know to be running this channel, want to know where she was on the day between when she escaped from the school and made it back home. Now, we were just given a ton of names, and while it might seem overwhelming, for now, just remember Carrie, Marvin, and Anna. We'll get to the others later.
Yeah, Marvin.
A girl went missing around here.
Fuck Richard.
Story goes, your daddy used to sit on a bench with a birthday cake,
No, I agree,
trying to
Noble.
lure her home. Instead of missing girl signs, he put up birthday girl signs, promising cake to the birthday girl. Of course, the birthday girl never came home, to his disappointment. When I learned about this absurd story, I spent a lot of time digging. Eventually, I found out what really happened to that girl. Want to know? Ask. The player then makes their way to a very specific spot, prompting a text box. And so, they ask, what happened to her? Revealing the following.
Oh shit, oh no, she died. Lena Leskowitz.
A new grave for a girl named Lena Leskowitz, explaining that they didn't see her.
She's the one who got hit by the car.
Let's think back. All the way back in Petscop 9, we found a girl within the windmill, and next to her was a face. The same face plastered on this gravestone. Lena Leskowitz is the windmill girl. Anna's sister, the one who completely vanished off the face of the earth.
Because she got hit by a car.
Now, within the dialogue Raynor gave us, it implies that they found her. They know where she was, what happened to her, everything. But at the same time, it contradicts their prior claims when pressing Marvin about what the hell he did. We know Raynor was extremely passionate about cracking the windmill mystery. So if he knew of her fate all along, why go through all of this? What I'm getting at here is this. At face value, her gravestone, combined with the prior references to roads and being run over, implies that she was hit by a car. If we really think about it though, it may have a different meaning entirely.
Oh, of course I was wrong.
Let's assume that Raynor's bluffing here. He's being bold, playing the strong game, trying to get answers out of anyone who would be willing to give it. The phrase "they didn't see her" might not reference the road at all.
She's John
Rather,
Cena.
that nobody saw her because nobody could find her. This death is implied because to this day, she's still missing.
She could still be out there.
After this revelation, the video continues for another minute without much substance. But while that's the case, I'd like to back up and focus on something else. The ghost room is a ship in a bottle. I purposefully glossed right over this because there is so much to say about it. In Petscop 16, we learned of what the ghost room is. It's a place where people are kept, where they're monitored, tracked, and forced to play Petscop for hours, days, maybe even years, all within the confines of its walls. At first, it's easy to take it at face value, assuming that this is a physical location with a real person. However, considering the mention of it being a ship in a bottle, I realized something.
What? I've been meaning to play this game too. Oh shit.
If you've watched my channel for a while, you know that Soma is one of my favorite video games ever, and I have waited for the day when I can find an excuse to talk about it again. Soma is a psychological horror game primarily focused on one man named Simon Jarrett. After a tragic car accident, he suffers severe brain damage that needs immediate treatment. As a result, he makes an appointment to get a brain scan done by a sketchy doctor who claims to be able to cure him. And in a way, he does. It's just not how you'd expect.
Some like Eternal Sunshine and shit.
Say cheese.
What the fuck?
What happened?
Soma Green.
Hello? Mr. Munchie? Did something go wrong?
Soma balls.
Simon passes out during the operation and suddenly wakes up in a world unlike anything he's ever seen. Things are futuristic, abandoned, and fucking underwater. What the hell happened? Where is everyone?
Oh yeah, I definitely gotta
how
play
did he
this.
get here? As he
I know it's been
traverses
out
through this
forever.
underwater hell, he encounters a woman named Catherine who invites him to find her in another building. Along the way, she keeps in contact with him and, in a way, keeps him sane. The first half of the game mostly involves puzzle solving and making his way to her location. However, once he does, he's greeted by not a human, but this.
Hey, down here.
She's an iPad?
No, not you two. I was really hoping you were human.
Don't let the circuitry fool you. I was human once.
Can't take it anymore. Everything's fucked.
Catherine isn't real. And later in the game, it's realized that we aren't either. The central question Soma
nice
entertains
spoiler.
is that of what it takes to be a human. What does humanity mean to you? Is it the human form? Is it the capability of sentient thought?
What are you?
Are you blind? It's me, Carl Semke. Wrangler? Any of this sound familiar to you?
No, actually.
Well, thanks for being so helpful. It's not like I'm knocked out on the floor or anything.
I won't spoil the ending in case you'd like to play it, but around the point Simon realizes that he isn't physically human, he learns of the true nature of that brain scan operation he went through. It wasn't for a diagnosis. It was to copy everything about him into a machine.
Skinny pencil necks. T-Fit's turning into Bobby Heenan over here.
No, of course Raynor isn't performing brain scans on people like in Soma.
Or not Bobby
However,
Heenan, but
the parallels
Classy
between their
Freddie
concepts are
Blassie.
clear. We've seen references to artificial intelligence since the very beginning of this series, and have theorized that they're not quite human, yet aren't fully computer either. To me, This ghost room implies that the AI system Raynor implemented is being built through the inputs of a real person. It creates virtual counterparts of those who play it, ultimately trapping them within the confines of the Petscop world. Belle, as we see her in-game, isn't a live player. She's the computerized consciousness of the real one, mirroring her psyche, her thought process, and the way she communicates to drive Petscop further and further towards the feeling of being alive. The ghost rooms are a ship in a bottle, the in-game counterpart to the real world, the place where AI are trapped forever. Allow me to ask you a question. If you played a game and it built a you inside of it, where it acts like you, thinks like you, where it can be you within it, and trapped it there forever, would you feel bad?
I think that would be kind of dope, actually. To be continued. Son of a bitch. Well, it looks like I broke my promise because whenever he releases part 2, I'll have to come back to the well once again. Fucking Nexpo. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. We're just getting to the good shit too. Damn you, Nexpo. Damn you! Well, in the meantime, I think I'll be streaming that Soma game here soon. Because that looks pretty fucking dope. Leaving us on a cliffhanger. I know, Mr. Twister. What the fuck? Come on. I know the video's almost over. I'm hoping there's it's like the Petscop videos where it's got like the weird ass fucking times on them that aren't real. Or the Petscop, yeah, the Petscop videos. Two hours and 45 minutes. And to be continued. What the fuck, man? What a cock tease. Oh, god damn it. Thanks for playing Petscop. Yeah, motherfucker. You didn't even say I love you all. Like you usually do. What's happened to you, Nexpo? Did Wilhelm get to your soul in that fucking abandoned building or whatever the fuck you went to? The demon Wilhelm, he's taken over your body, hasn't he? Son of a bitch. Well, that was something. I was thinking people are like, what the hell's going on? I'm thinking oh, it'll all be explained in the end. I'm glad I didn't say that because I would have looked like an even bigger fucking fool. But you know what? I have a new DM from Mr. Twister. Let's see what this is. My phone wants to correct Nexpo to Newport so badly. Let's hear some sweet, savory goodness, shall we? All right.
In my mind, it's someone that's just like a sex fiend that just loves cum. They're a hound for it. In my mind, it's someone that's just like a sex fiend that just loves cum. They're a hound for it. In my mind, it's someone that's just like a sex fiend that just loves cum. Savory goodness. Sweet, savory goodness. In my mind, it's someone that's just like a sex fiend that just loves sweet, savory goodness. Sweet, savory goodness. I need that gum. I need that gum.
Put some cum in everything. Put some cum in everything.
I need that gum.
Go send your cum to Creep from Outer Space. Since Nexpo didn't say it,
I need that gum.
I'll say it. I love you all.
I need that gum. I need that gum.
Thanks for sending me that song, Mr. Twister.
Put some cum in everything. Whatever I'm gonna mix it with. I don't know. Put it in my dinner.
Melvin needs our cum, yes. So long, everybody.